Oh, seems that we are now working. He says in a very strange way. But yeah, hello everybody, and welcome to another hobby hangout with me at Forge of Mars, aka Lee. Yeah, I'm basically back again after disappearing last week because I had a very long day at work and it was quite a day, to be honest with you. And hello, Randraiser. Nice to see you again, buddy. But yes, so yeah, it was a long day, and because I didn't have the opportunity to put out any posts to say that I was going to be online last week, and the time I got in, it was just like too crazy, and I was absolutely zonked. Hey, Rob, see you sneaking in there, you beautiful son of a sausage. Your warlord, that brickwork you've been doing on his foot. Oh my god. How could you make bricks look awesome? But yes, so I'm here again with you, and tonight, basically, oh bugger, I've actually left something I was planning to do in the other room. So I'm going to have to quickly nip inside and grab it. So if you could just bear with me a second, I would put some sort of like elevator music on or something, but I don't have any elevator music. So you can just stare at this dude for a bit, who is the latest addition to my Legio Krytos. So I will be back in about 25 seconds. Whoop. Right, it might have been less than 25 seconds, but haha. What I'd left inside was these weapon parts that I'd been cleaning, where I've been washing them earlier on with the old soaking in the hot soapy water. We have a Volcanic Destructor for a warlord, and we also have the laser destroyers, because I am a big fan of laser destroyers because they are quite good. No reduction over range, less shots than a las blaster, but as I say, you're always hitting on a 3+. Normally, as long as there's no no one's hiding behind anything. So I've got some of these recently, and I say I've got to build up on the weapons because I have for these two warlords for. Well, I'll say these two. So these two warlords for my Legio Domitium, I've got what you see here, plus some las blasters for the roof. So I want a bit more variety. So that's why we've got the Volkite to go, and I'm going to do another volcano so I can have whatever I need on this. I can use whatever, mix them between, and then obviously the carapace weapons. Was it Rob? Took 3 minutes with 3 shades of weathering pigments. And your Titans had some in real life warp delays. What happened with them, Randraiser? Where are they? Have you lost them already? That's not good. So I've been basically just working on this guy for a week, because work has been quite manic, as it always has been since returning, and I've also been sort of going back onto my Xbox. I'd already brought the beers. But yes, I do have reserves if need be. But I've got 2 with me here. Well, that was the end of one. You cannot count that. You cannot count that. Anyway, so yeah, so this guy I've been working on all week. So I've got the decals done. Where I've been using the. I'll show you. I got these off of eBay a little while back. So they are micro scale decals. Yeah, it's a 1/16 scale white checker. Oh, that's the small one. Sorry, that's the smaller one, which I don't remember using, which is quite worrying. Yeah, so the ones that, yeah, that's it. So the one that he's got on his shoulder there is actually the 1/8 scale. So sheet like that, but obviously because the missing had to be that little bit extra awkward, it's not like just straightforward checkers, it's actually diamonds. So I had to angle them, so you actually waste quite a bit of decals. But any bits I snip off, I keep to one side, just in case of awkward areas where I would have to do a little bit of jiggery pokery with my decals. So went with which I actually say time out. I used to think that obviously on the Warlord decal sheet, where you had like here you go. So you had the white cogs or half quarter cog, so you could do that. I was sure that they had a black one as well. I might have just been hallucinating it, because I thought, all right, I'll do purple. I'll do the symbols, white symbols on the purple, stands out great. And then do black cogs, and then realise when I actually, after done them, there weren't no black cogs. So I was a little bit like, oh, kind of disappointed with that. So yes. Oh, the other weapon I do have available for these is a, where has he put it? Good old Power Fist. So here you go. So Power Fist, although I'd already built the Power Fist before it kind of fits. Unfortunately, it doesn't move, so I can't actually adjust it. So it's just like, oh, I'll just rest it on this building here. I think he actually sits better on this guy, because he was the one I actually built. But then again, he looks like, yeah, hi, I'm a Warlord Titan and I'm unemployed. So it's like very nonchalant, it's like positioning on the arm. It's like, or maybe just like go, hey, come on, I'll have you, come on. Obviously the old Sun Fury, which is always a good go-to with these guys. My favourite is basically Volcano, that, and having the old missiles on top. Shield stripping, medium range firepower, and obviously the coup de grace with the Volcano cannon. I do like apox though, especially targeted shots once shields are, yes, Rob, yes. Because as we're all learning the game still, because I'm still learning stuff. But yes, the thing is, obviously, once the shields are down, you reverse the order that you shoot. So I would order on that Warlord, for example, Volcano. Once the shields are down, Volcano, and then whatever target it hits, I then target shot with the Sun Fury, and hopefully by then it's got a couple of like pluses on there, and then you hit them with the apox. So if you're getting a +3, 10 shots coming in, although it's 5 to hit, you know, you are getting 10 shots at strength 7. Obviously, if you're outside of arc, that could be 8 or 9. That can be quite a good little sort of finish up on something, and it's nice to actually kill something with a lower strength weapon. It sounds weird, bear with me, but you know, because you always use APOCs to strip shields, but it does feel nice when you flip it around and then you hit them with the APOCs, because your opponent is sitting there going, "Oh bugger." So yeah, so they're a very good. Yes, they are weak to noughts to start with, but they're very good when there is a bit of damage on that table, on the damage track sort of thing, because you could actually, good rolls, you could get rid of your opponent in front of you. So yes. Hello, Arcs. The Apocalypse launchers. They are so versatile, though. You know, you've got the great bit of range with them. Just realised I haven't put any decals on those ones, but yeah, you've got some great range, and now we can take advantage of the gyroscopic stabilisation. So they're not just arc, or any carapace weapons are no longer just arc, front corridor. Sorry, for the extra 25 points. Totally worth it, because then you've got a greater sort of you then get front arc, so you've got a great field of fire. So when you're playing like Warlord heavy mana pools, you can sort of spread them out a little bit more, cover your flanks and approaches, because that was the thing. It's like, because they're corridor, you'd get somebody to sidestep out that corridor. You can't use your 10 shots to strip the hell out of their shields. But now it's going to make it a little bit harder for your opponent to, wiggle around and stuff. Let's see, there's a few other people jumping in. Hello, Adam. Hello. I heard an interesting AT tip. 5+, well, that's mine, possibly. But you heard an interesting tip from me, or have you heard a tip yourself and you want to share with the congregation? Sofa, hello, how are you, dude? And congratulations on the new addition to your Titan family. Sophus has got himself another Warhound to join his Legio Fortidus, the Dauntless. If you see Sophus Penance, if you don't follow him already on Instagram, well worth it. He's got some excellent Titans up there to admire. But yes, welcome, dude. I couldn't roll more ones if I was doing binary dice. Well, it's always a thing with the dreaded 1 dice. You don't want to, say the ultimate, all I need is anything but a 1 when you're doing your dice roll, because you will roll a 1. So yes, it's I actually, somebody said that when I was about to do a roll, and I sort of like just freaked out. I went, no. We want a 2+. 2+. Think the positive. Go with the positive. Don't anything but go for. We want a 2+, and it came in for me, luckily. So, but yeah, never mention those dreaded words. It's sort of like saying Macbeth if you're in the theatre. You don't mention the Scottish play. You don't mention the 1s, or I need anything but, because that's bad. Adam's a tip from a GW employee. Ooh. Hello, Andrew, and the what's the plan for tonight? Yes, so we are building Volcanic Destructors and turbo lasers for the roof for my Legio Domitium. So this fellow and his friend, this fellow, are in need of some extra options for their weapon loadouts. So we're doing that. I've also got a volcano cannon here because obviously I have a few kits and I found, oh, I've got another volcano cannon, and I thought that'll be handy. So I can just do another volcano cannon for these guys. I've still got some other kits that I got recently, because what my plan is with my Titan forces is to basically supplement them as best I can. So obviously giving what Legios need them, those extra bits of firepower like las blasters, quake cannons, Mclachlan blasters, all those sort of options. So for the next, however long, until I suppose the Iconoclast drops, or anything else, I'm going to be trying to sort of supplement my existing armies with the extra firepower. So when it comes to meeting up and doing some games, it's a case of having what I need to, have those options for the games, whoever I'm playing against, with what they've got, basically. A new AT expansion and models out beginning in the next few months. Nice. That would be pretty cool. Well, I think the new AT expansion is probably going to be the Traitor Legios book, I would have thought, and the Iconoclast. So yeah, that's definitely something to be looking forward to, because obviously there will be Iconoclasts heading my way at some point, because these guys are just fantastic models to build and paint, and I won't be adding an Iconoclast to these guys, to the Domitium, but I will be buying Iconoclast for Krytos because it kind of suits them, and I'll probably get an Iconoclast for the Firewasps because, again, with their background of having heavy Titans, that would be totally worth it. So yeah, I have got all my Titans in the box just down here. As you can just about see the box just there. It's really useful. Hi, like your vids. First time I've watched, but I've viewed a few people on Hobby. Always welcome, Sophus. I've watched a couple of your vids, well, when you've done your broadcasts on Instagram, anyway. Hello, you. I see you calling out my name. Hello there, Jinx. How are you? Thank you for dropping by. It's always nice to. Yeah, it's weird because you're hearing my voice again. So yeah. Welcome. Yes, and okay. Second beer of the night. Or second beer of being here. That doesn't count. First beer. Sorry. Rob, I've managed to roll 8 1s out of 10 dice on my first volley last walk. That was a good opening shot. My first time I fired a Sun Fury on a Warlord, I rolled 3 1s on maximal fire. So my reactor just went, which was not fun. I've also heard old gamers myth, never use a dice that fell on the floor and never pick it up. I've never done that, but I would have picked it up but put it to one side. So yeah, what superstitions do you guys have with your dice? Because there's one thing I do, like if I've rolled a 1 or ones on dice, I won't use those dice again. I will put them to one side. I'll just scatter them somewhere, and then I'll pick new dice. And even if if I've got re-rolls, I won't roll the 1s again. I'll roll fresh dice, if you know what I mean. Because if that one's rolled 1 bad, knowing my luck, it will roll it bad again. So I would basically just choose a different dice altogether. Alan, hello, dude. You love me some Tomb. Oh, we all love Tomb. I mentioned that on Mousebait on Twitter, where she's been doing a Iron Hands Contemptor Dreadnought with the twin Volkite, and yeah, I just said it's all about the Tomb. Gotta have some tune. Good day. Hey, dude, how are you? Thank you for dropping by. And it's a good day in Texas. I hope it's pleasant over there, buddy. It's obviously night here, and the heat has calmed down somewhat. So, and I literally had a shower just before coming on because I needed it. I was rushing about. I thought I need to eat. I'm starving. Ate, then got in the shower, then grabbed all my stuff and forgot these guys. So I obviously had to run back in. But yes, welcome, buddy. Lovely to have you here. Off the table means off the world, and the dice is forever. I've never thought of it like that, Rob. I can understand where you're coming from. Yes. Sucked in the void and cursed. Yes, yes. But has anyone lost dice? You know, like you hear it go scuttling across the floor. Have you managed to retrieve it, or is it completely dead to you? That's the thing. No worries, Sophus. Hello, MZ. Hello. Welcome. It's I hope you've had a good evening. What do you mean ugly and ugly? How dare you? Arcs, looking forward to the traitor book and certainly want to add to my Renegade Legion. Yes, that old bloody hell. We've been invaded. I've got a crane fly. Damn you! It's my fault. So I've got the door open because hot. But we have got a sort of mesh thing you put across the door. But I left it slightly open, and with lights on, you're going to attract moths, flies, and crane flies. And he's just, I think he's trying to have sex with a book. It's a massive one as well. That's a big daddy long legs. Yes, we can't wait for the traitor book. Yes, I think there's a lot of people out there, Arcs, that is waiting for the traitor book, because if anything was the Loyalist Leaders book to go by, I'm sure there's going to be some interesting stuff in there for traitors. So not obviously like rejigged Legio rules. Go Krytos, because Krytos don't have the greatest of rules. But hopefully there'll be something else. So like corrupted Titans or something. So that's definitely something to look forward to. Can't wait till next month when I can get my first Titan since Epic. Oh, dude. Oh, yes. Welcome to a higher form of warfare. Being a Titan Princeps is a glorious thing, because these models, and as you all know, I love these models. That's why I have so bloody many of them. The detail on them is fantastic. So obviously, like, you got the little bit at the back here where you would board set Titan if it was in Titan Gantry. But yeah, he's got so much on these everywhere. And obviously, the good thing about the bigger Titans is that they have inbuilt mag points. So anything from a Warbringer upwards, for those who haven't had the pleasure of playing with Titans, has magnet inserts. So 5mm by 1mm magnets are your best friends here to clock them in. And obviously with your Warlords, you have the two varieties. So you get the Las Blasters as well, which are really nice and shooty. But yeah, the kit's just, they're so well made. The instructions are really good on them as well, Patrick. So you cannot foul with these, although people do. So when you are starting your epic adventure into the world of Titans, make sure the main thing that most people get wrong is the positioning of the shin, because for some reason they just do. Because the front has which I can't show you because I've got the leg part glued in, but there's a little bit that sticks out, and that is required because on the front greave there's a little socket that it plugs into the knee, into the leg. So it looks like it's a chicken leg. You have the normal thigh leg, but then that's sort of like a dog leg. Sorry. So that's how you want it, with the little strut out the front, which that will plug into. But that's the main thing that most people have problems with, or they miss and glue it together, and then they're sort of stuffed as such. Jinx, I'm awake in everything. Well, yeah, you're always awake. Every moment of the day, as far as I'm aware. I went through a phase where I would only use black dice. Anything else was up. Again, it's that superstition thing. So, like, when I was doing playing 40k, I actually used these Flame of War dice with the Desert Rats, because my granddad, or one of my granddads, was a desert rat, and I saw them on sale in a local gaming shop, Wayland Games. And on the 6th, they have the desert rat symbol. So I just thought, all right, yeah, sod it. So you get like 20 dice in there in the little tin. So I bought them, and they've been quite good for me. They've worked really well over the course of years. And you know, I would always use them in like 40k games. I've used them a little bit in AT, but I've been trying to just keep with using the AT dice, just to keep that. I don't know, for some reason. I might change that now. You know, why stay there? Glad to hear the heat is subsiding there. Yeah, a little bit. There was a bit of rain as well, but it's still sort of like hot and clammy. Clammy, I believe is the phrase. The Reaver I'm working on has a Chaos Star and a damage in the preparation of Corrupted Titans. Yeah, Alex, he messages me his progress with his Titans, and he's a really talented hobbyist, because they look really sort of like battered, and sort of like they've got that really nice sort of lived-in look. And now he's obviously expanding his chaos influences upon his Titans. So I just realised what the hell, oh yeah, that's that because I just stuck them all in together. It's trying to, oh, that's that. Yeah, so I'm just sorting out the part that goes on there. That's on there, that's on there. Right, okay. So organising myself for doing workage today. So yeah, yeah. So also Patrick, Warbringers, as I said, have mag points in them as well. What I have done with all my Warbringers is I've never bothered gluing this into position. Unfortunately, you know, I thought I was being clever, because I thought, well, we know that there's a volcano cannon option for these, and so I thought, well, yeah, you glue that in place, blah blah blah. But unfortunately, Forge World produced just the weapon to go with the existing support. So yeah, so I've got no volcano cannons on any of my Warbringers, apart from obviously the Reaver version ones. But to be honest with you, I love Quake cannons. Yeah, may not be as strong as volcano cannons, but when you drop the shields on an enemy Titan and you hit them with one of these, you can make them dance. And I've mentioned it several times before. In the tournament, or the campaign weekend I went to at Warhammer World last year, my final game, I was playing my Legio Solaria, the Imperial Hunters, and they were up against Legio Volpa, who are their actual like nemesis Legio. There was a hatred between the two, and it seemed quite appropriate that the last game was up against Volpa. it was my hardest game of the entire weekend, because Solaria, you're normally going to be running light maniples, so like Warhounds. So basically I had 4 Warhounds, I had a Warlord, and then some Knights, basically. And I was up against 2 Warlords, 3 Reavers, and a Porphyrion. And it was, as I said, my hardest game. I took the most casualties in that game. In fact, I probably took, as well, in Titans alone, I lost 3 Titans, 3 Warhounds in that game. Up until that game, I'd only lost 1 in the previous 4 games I played. I'd lost a few Knights, but I lost so many Knights in this particular game. But it paid off, and the killing blow came when my Warlord, Aphionia, which had twin Quake cannons, fired them both into a Warlord and Reaver that was standing opposite me. The shields had just gone down. I managed to get the shields down, and so I fired my both Quake cannons, got multiple hits on the both Titans, because obviously scattering, it covered them. And what happened is that the Reaver basically walked, well, took a step backwards first, because after you hit, they has a concussion trait. So basically you move them. So they either turn to the left, turn to the right, or they move backwards. So first one, he moved backwards, which he stood on top of a stratagem, which was a shield generator, and destroyed it. And then it moved 45 degrees, and because it moved, it hit the Warlord next to it. So roll location, it's hit him there, it's done damage. Then the Warlord moved into the Reaver, done a lot more damage, and killed the Reaver. The Reaver is then blown up because it just been killed, and blowing up had took out the Warlord. So that 2 volley shot just destroyed them both. It was a thing of beauty. It was just nice to see these 2 Titans just have a little dance around before just blowing up. It was beautiful, and a great way to end the game, I thought. But yeah, Quake cannons are a lot of fun. As I said, they're not that, well, they're strength 9, whereas a volcano cannon is strength 12. So you're going to get a lot more, chance of doing crit damage to things. But what's a crit when you have the power of dance? Felix is here. Hello, dun dun dun. Welcome, buddy. I hope you're at home and hobbying, and not all over the place as you normally are. Feel free to share my pictures. I don't have an Instagram yet. Well, I might do a little thing at some point and put something up there. Obviously, I'll let you know. Response. There was a really cool Slaanesh themed Warlord Titan that I saw on Instagram. They had printed all the sonic weapons, mounted palace stuff on the carapace. Yeah, no, there's so many guys and girls out there that are creating some really awesome stuff to actually really make their Titans look amazing. I know there's other companies out there, sort of like Battle Bling, who are doing all their alternate weapons and stuff, and things that might have been mentioned before, or different variations. Grimdark Terrain as well, that Broncofish does, but he's doing scenery, so totally different sort of aspect. But where he's been doing like a Patreon for, if you have a 3D printer, you basically do a Patreon and you get access to all these STLs and stuff. And the stuff he's producing is fantastic. I was listening to the podcast today, Maximal Fire podcast, and I think it's Randolph, who is Broncofish, was on there chatting with Alex and Ben, and they were talking about he designed this sort of like a drop ship type thing as a scenic item, and apparently it's like 22 centimeters long, and it's actually a lot heavier. Like it's obviously 3D printed, but where he's able to shave off a little bit of like resin or whatever, hollow sections, but it's quite a weighty thing. But it's like 22 centimeters long, so it's like that big, and it almost as high as a Warhound Titan. So you can see a little bit of the Warhound over the top of it. But yeah, he's done like little like Mechanicum trains, Mechanicum themed buildings, and all sorts. And the detail on them is pretty impressive. So yeah, definitely worth checking him out at some point. Battle Bling for extra turn tables if you ever want a turntable for Volcanoes. There you go. If I need one, I know where to go to, because Johnny Core, yeah. So yeah, it's Facebook friends. So yeah, I could go down that route. But as I say, I'm quite happy with my Quakes and all my little Warbringers because they're just fun. Yeah, no, I love Quake cannons. Are just so much fun. Yeah, no, it really was. As I said, like all the games up until that last one, I had lost only several knights. So I'd lost one Porphyrion, and I think about 5 knights in total, and one Warhound, which I lost on the Saturday. It was in the final game on Saturday. The guy who killed it, I did not begrudge him at all. He was a really nice guy. You know, like one of these like players you come, he's really friendly, had a good game, had a laugh. I was like cursing him because he was playing Legio Tempestus, and every time I killed one of their Titans, I'm like, woohoo, I killed one of their Titans. But then they get to roll on their command roll, and if they get over a certain level or whatever, if they pass it or pass it by a good number, they can fire one or all their weapons at you as a like, see you later, I'm gonna kill you. And that's obviously also, if they got wildfire, that could also get some more shots on you, sort of thing. But yeah, he kept on all his Corsair, his Reavers I was killing, but always getting these double little shots off. But yeah, he was a really nice fellow, and as I said, I did not begrudge him killing one of my Titans because he deserved it. He put up a good little fight, but yeah, he deserved that kill. But the Volpa one, oh my god, trying to kill warlords is quite hard anyway. But when they're in a Fortis maniple, because you've got like 18, 19 different maniple types, so a Fortis maniple is basically 2 warlords and 3 reavers, and it allows you, if you don't move, you benefit that any damage taken you don't add the pluses to, so that's very handy. So against missiles, like we was talking earlier on with Rob, firing an Apox launcher, you're only going to be hitting them on a 4+ if they haven't moved. If they have moved, they don't gain that benefit. But they can also merge shields. So in the game, normally it's only Warhounds where you can put the merge the shields. You have to put them close together, and they share the shields. So with that, they've got that ability to soak extra damage. But with anything like that, it's hello. So Harvey Price, welcome, and hello nerds to you too, dude. So yeah, thanks for spamming. Always a pleasure. But yeah. Yeah, sorry, I've completely thrown. Oh, hello, Banhammer. He's back again. That's interesting as well. So, is this your thing, Harvey? You like go around and just like do this because you've got nothing better to do? You know, for a joke, it's fine, but yeah. So anyway, just trying to. Right. Yeah. So sorry about that. That was a bit different. Well, okay. So, well, everything's around Harvey now. So, it's great having you here, dude. So obviously, there's so much going on here at the moment, and you're just totally ruining the flow. Thanks, dude. So, yeah. So you really do suck the fun out of things, Harvey. Thanks, dude. Whoever you are. So yeah, it's just weird because like when I've got the controls here to actually, put you in timeout and stuff like that, but somehow he's getting back in. See, so all groovy. Yeah, he's like a little scrap code, isn't he? Yeah, no, well, it was going swimmingly, and then this Harvey Price turned up to say hello, and obviously he loves saying hello with his little spamming, so no problem. If that's what gets him off, that's fine. You can stay here. I normally hang around for about 4 or 5 hours, so you're welcome to do that now because now you've sort of you've made your position clear. So hang around, dude. You've obviously got nothing better to do. So yeah, the Fortis Maniple, as I was saying, was that quite a hard thing to break down, especially when you've got light titans going up against everything. It's a case that when you've got large titans like that able to share their shields, stripping them down, you need to have a hell of a lot of focused fire to do that. And I say we had because of the scenery, we was able to hide a couple. Like he had one warlord and 2 reavers hidden behind one big piece of scenery, or 2 big pieces of scenery. So I couldn't get a good bead on him with all my titans. So he was able to sort of sit there and creep in the middle of the battlefield. and then he had a separate Warlord and Reaver Titan sat on the other side, where it was sitting on top of the, as I said, the stratagem for the shield generator. So with that, it was able to, as I shot the one on the shield generator, because I could see it and I could get a bead on it, it was just basically soaking up the hits, and any misses, he got to do a reroll. So it was able to just sit there for ages and not, you know, keep its shields, and then it was healing again, and then it was just building it all up. And then it was a case that with that, it was took a lot to actually strip it down. I actually had to run a Warhound up to it and basically detonate in its face, which actually helped to sort of do a fair amount of damage to it. But it was just getting rid of the bloody thing, which was so hard, and to continue it, as I said, I think we went to sort of, I think we went up to the full 5 turns as well. So it was a real sort of slog to try and kill these guys. And then because of that, it was such a hard game, because I also had to deal with bloody anti-Titan infantry that he used the stratagem, where he dropped it on a couple of areas to shoot and harass my other Warhounds, whilst they were in a crossfire with the Porphyrion he had on the opposite hill. So it wasn't the greatest sort of situation to be in, to be honest with you. And with that, what's dragged it out, basically. But yeah, it was quite a tough old game, to be fair. But again, it was enjoyable, if stressful, because of that whole situation. How do you choose personal livery? I'm just trying to think, because I did do a few bits on some Reavers, if I can find them. Yeah, so gun fell off there. So with a couple of these guys. So what I think on Reavers in particular is when you've got the knee pad, plain knee pad like this. Now, believe me, this is not my favourite knee pad. I'm still thinking about trying to do other stuff with this, but what looks really good as for sort of personal heraldry in particular is to quadrant this. So two opposing colours, and then just adding some of the smaller decals that I have for like knights, because these are off the knight sheet, that's off the knight sheet, that's also off of a knight decal sheet. But a quadrant really looks quite good. I really don't like this, so I will be redoing that at some stage. And then with this guy here, I just went with the arrangement of the 3 skulls and the Titan, the Collegia eagle symbol. And this guy, I think that's a Mortis, Legio Mortis skull. And again, these decals are off of the Imperial Knights decal sheets. So with that, it sort of helps out to. It reminds me of the old Imperial Guard to actually do that. So it sort of worked out quite well. The ones I'd done, I suppose my Solaria ones were pretty better for doing like personal heraldry. What the hell was that? because I was using them on the shoulder pads. I've done sort of like segmented or a little stripe across, and then done one colour, different colour, and then another colour, and added some decals for personal things. What I'll do, Patrick, I'll stick some bits into Discord of examples of them for you. But yeah, on Reavers decals, on Warlords you have their tilt shields, so you can do a little work with these. Now that was freehand, I did, and obviously that was freehand as well, because I'm using the artwork from the books to actually pop them in there. But yeah, it's little bits and pieces, little twerks, like on the knee when you've got the Warlord symbol, which is crossed axes on there, or so you've got the sort of black and white. See a bit better there. There you go. The black and white cogs, half cogs on these ones. So it gives it a little bit more, adds a bit more character to the actual models. But yeah, stick with doing quadrant or quarters on a Reaver knee pad in particular, because they do look quite nice doing them that way. G Stealer, hello dude. How are you, buddy? Apologies for last week. I did say at the start I wasn't around last week because work was a little bit too mental. It's really busy, so I was just totally run off my feet and knackered, to be honest with you. Hey Rob, how's things? Warlord looks awesome. He does, doesn't it? He's about 3 weeks, I think you've been doing on that, haven't you? Or is it 4 weeks now? I've lost track of time, to be honest, Rob. Arcs and building 6 battlefield assets as I'm watching. Cool. Cheers, G Stiller. Hope have you here finished tomorrow. Just finish off the base, even better. So yeah, it's all good in the hood, especially when you're doing a little bit of hobby. So yes. So yeah, we're trying to get, as I said, these shoulder weapons done for these Warlords, because as you all know, I do like my options for weapons. So clean these up, because I must admit these ones have probably had the most flash on in comparison to other Forge World kits that I've had of recent days, I'd say. So with that, the cleanup is the amount of times I used to sort of just crash through and stick everything together, and you know, I think as I've gotten older, I've realised that you can't really do that. You need to spend some time with the tidy up side of things. You've got to let that excitement cool down and just get on with it, really. So yes, and then scrape the hell out of these little bits of flash, because they're bloody annoying. This will be week 5, but I had to tighten the walk in between. Managed to get the walk ready in 4 weeks, although quite pleased with how fast that went. As I say, the beautiful thing about Warlords in both 28mm and AT scale is that the instructions are really clear, and the kits generally are really good to put together. So with that, as you're getting, you know, going step by step, slowly catchy monkey, you're able to actually just get through them quite well, and it goes together faster than you think, because that 2 foot tall warlord model is so intimidating to actually, when you get that kit opened up and you start washing it all and everything, being able to do that, and you see it slowly coming together as you've got part A to part B, C to D and everything. It does give you such a great sense of satisfaction, and overall sort of, happiness in some respects. So yes, it allows you to do so much more and enjoy your hobby. But even on the small guys, as Patrick, you will find out once you get onto these, that once you've finished building your first Warlord Titan, you can just sit back and sort of see what it's like and enjoy it and just go with it, really. And yes, it does give you a nice sense of satisfaction. Please show your collection. The current collection of Titans that are here. I've got so this is the guy I have been working on currently, which is the Legio Domitium Warlord. So with I like the advancing poses. So it's like, this one reminds me of the Kool-Aid dude. So it's just smacking through the walls, going, "Oh yeah," and basically just blowing the crap out of people. So the other warlord I have is this guy. So going with the Mars Beta head on this one. Obviously magnetize the weapons as you should do, really. Sorry, Felix. I know you like Astra Man, but it had to be done for fluff reasons. So obviously with these kits you do get a hell of a lot of sort of spare parts. So I made good use of said spare parts by recreating a sort of dead Reaver for Mr. Warlord to be standing upon. So I've only got the 2 warlords at present, and what actually, I'll just tidy this area up a little bit for you. Oh, and then you get all sorts of other things as well. But the whole thing with these Titans is obviously the ability to actually just assemble them and play games, because the AT game system is probably one of the best game systems to be playing in, and being able to do that and enjoy yourself with your friends, or in a campaign weekend sort of thing, is really fun. Even if you lose a game, you have a laugh. So it's something that you can do whenever. Oh dear. Yeah, no, the orange plasma, because I always used to do it blue. But then after I looked at the box art for it was the first Battle Force box set, and they were orange, so I thought I'd experiment with it, and it does stand out really nice against the sort of the purple and white, and then you go from there, really. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, no, the AT-18 system is really, really good. I'd say it's probably the most balanced out of all the game systems anyway. But you know, what can you do when you've playing all these other sort of like game systems, 40k, AOS? There's so much you got to sort of think about, and obviously making the armies for those game systems is quite it's a hard thing at times, sort of thing, because you have to get so many different synergies working to make a one of your sort of armies work properly. So when you do that, it's always going to be a bit more tricky, because obviously there's a lot more different units to worry about and all the rules you need to know for it. And then yeah, you just go go through from there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Warlord Reaver and 2 Hounds box set, the one with the fire wasps on the front, because with that it's you take inspiration from the art that you see, and obviously you apply it to your hobby and go from there. But yeah, it's something that you can enjoy. You know, I love looking at all these different artworks, going onto sort of websites like DeviantArt as well, where you see like fan-made sort of artwork and stuff. You know, it can provide inspiration. So it's like with anything creative, you have a look around outside, see what you've able to actually take on, and you know, you can even just going around in like construction sites are great for getting ideas on weathering, chipping on paint on things. It's something that, you know, just looking around, you can get so much from, you know, taking it all in and seeing all this work that other people are doing, as well as obviously real life as well, and then applying it to your models. So when you do that, it enhances the looks. You know, it gives you that real sort of you know, ability to bring a bit more sort of realism. You know, at the end of the day, they are models, and you know, they are for a game, and we play the game to have fun. So having that, and then, you know, it's a relaxing hobby at the end of the day. So, you know, you get what you put into it out of it. So yeah. But yeah, I like playing painting the plasma coils in bronze and brass. Yeah, no, I did that with the big guy. So with the War Master. So I used P3 paint, which was blighted gold. On just that'll be easier. So blighted gold over, and then a couple of washes of Agrax basically, and then a bit of a dry brush over the top of it. So it's got a little bit of like, it's carbon scoring on there. And then, you know, with that, it's able to sort of, as you say, I prefer doing it that way than doing the glows. And yeah, it's sort of because they're not going to be on all the time. So, you know, again, for the added realism to the actual model, having a non-glowy effect, because obviously, you know, you can take it to the next level if you're going to have the weapons permanently fixed on them, and do the sort of like the light sourcing and everything with the actual plasma go, and having that reflected on the armor. Yeah, it's all well and good, but if you're swapping out weapons, then you've got this plasma glow on the Titan's armor, which doesn't need to be there really. I'm glad they ruined Kill Team for me with this release. Now I can get some more Warhounds. That's fair. That's a really nice on the War Master. Yeah, with all 4 War Masters, I did it that way. I didn't want to do the plasma glows. I still do it on like the small guys, like the Warhounds. But recently, I have sort of avoided going with that on well, not Reavers, on the Warlords, on the Sun Furies, basically. And by doing that, it's I like it better, because it's hard when you're comparing with, like, the orangey glows. Just using sort of I think I used Fugant Orange, or did I? No, I didn't actually. Tell a lie. That was Corvus White, Corax White, sorry, or was it Corvus? No, Corax White. Then I dry brushed on the ribs with White Scar, and then I use Iandan contrast paint, Iandan yellow contrast paint, but I allowed it to sort of pool in areas, just to give a little bit more sort of depth and ability on that. But yeah, it worked on those, but I do try to avoid now. I'd rather keep him as, like, powered down coils, basically. Try adding some gloss Agrax or Rackland Fleshade to the coils. Works very well. I may try that. That could be quite interesting. Also gloss. Yeah, give a bit of a sheen to it. That's the thing though, is because I use like the gloss spray varnish prior to doing decals, and I get carried away, and then obviously after I'd applied said decals, I give them some more varnish, and then I hit them with the matte. And by that point I thought, oh bugger, and so I haven't really gone back to them, because I had other things to build and paint. But yeah, it's just one of those things, really. You pick up those little tips and tricks when hanging out with other hobbyists at events, having a beer, having a chat, and just making the most of it. But yeah, it's all good. So, all right, that's 2 secs. I'm just going to grab another beer. Nice. But yeah, so apart from that, as I say, it's just having fun, hanging out with you guys, and do some building. That's the whole point of things, really. If he can find his super glue. Oh, there it is. Found it. Excellent. There's something in my hair. Right. So yeah, so these are sort of fairly tidied up now anyway. Richard's such a great bloody painter. I love seeing his work. Ever since that Mortarian he did, because obviously that's what really sort of brought him to the fore in the hobby community, was the work he done on that. But yeah, it was, seeing what he did, how he done those eyes on the wings of Mortarian's model, was just like, nobody. I had never seen anything else like that beforehand, and he just smashed it out of the park with that. So and kudos to him. Also with that War Master he did as well for Gryphonicus. Out of all these sort of the pro painters that were given, I think Electrivive, with her sort of marbled purple creamy sort of colours, worked really well. The way that they actually made it, and how it came together, and as I say, Richard's Gryphonicus one was just next level awesome. The way he's managed to do that, so it's all good in the hood. So try not to slice my fingers off. That's the plan anyway. Yes. Yeah, make sure there's none of that little bits of flesh, or flash, sorry, still hanging around. Because there's nothing worse when you've been painting them, as you all know, to find that there's flash that you've missed and there's not got paint on. So, and then you just realise that's the wrong way round. Excellent. Oh, yes. Alright there, Tom. Welcome to the Hangout. I hope you're alright. How's your arm doing, dude? I hope you're recovering well. And that you're getting able to do some painting. But yes, it's all good at the moment, and all tickety boo as much as possible. So this is going to be bloody awkward, isn't it? It would be. This one thing I hate about the shoulder mounts is these poxy little supports. The bits is going to be a right pain in the ass. So yes. No, I think I've done that wrong. Typical. I guess I'm staying there now. Oh well, never mind. Get that on there. It says. Although now it's done that the wrong way around. Excellent. It's going really well. So I'll just repeat that with the other side. So I think I've done it the wrong way around, but oh well, never mind. Yeah, no, so these little bits are right buggers, to be honest with you. There's not a lot you can do with them. They need to be put on there just to add to the extra bit. So, yes. Yeah, I just kind of wish I had some clippers. Not clippers, tweezers, that's what I wanted. Yes. That's going in. Yeah, no, that's that. They're done. So that's in the way. get some of the glue off my fingers. I just realised I'm living vicariously through my War Master and building a new fist arm for him. Is that what you got yourself a battle bling one, or because what I did the other day with Mr. War Master, stuck that on his like little baby hand. Oh look, I'm gonna go pick someone's face off. But yeah, you just get it out. Sorry. So again, that the limp wrist is not good. But yeah. The part of the Legio Chronicus that I never thought forget is the Epic Titans with dabbled grey carapaces and armour plating. Yeah, well, they still have the sort of dabbled grey on them. So with them, that gives you a real nice sort of depth to their armour. So if it was just a plain grey, it just would not work at all. But having that sort of like sort of speckling, sort of stippled grey approach to it, it gives you sort of the look and sort of like it's got texture. So it's like even reminds me of like shark skin, where you have that sort of the mid, I'd say like a mid grey for the base, and then obviously going with like maybe something a bit lighter for the dappling, and then I would probably give it a wash over, a glaze or something just to try and tie it all together. Those little bits are purely just to add the look that they've got sort of pistons for the hydraulics of the actual weapon. I believe I've actually stuck them upside down, but again, it's such a small thing, you don't really pay much attention to those bits because obviously it's just there to represent the fact it's got turbo lasers on the roof of a warlord. So, right. So with these, as you can see there, they don't line up that well. So it's quite, I suppose that's probably, he says, no, it's definitely better that way. So yeah, the way they've cut through on the moulds or whatever, it doesn't quite line up properly. Just buggering about with Kermit Gut one. It fits. I'm struggling with struggling to un-40k it. I'm sure if there's anyone who can do it, mate, you can. And get that going. Now, I've just realised. Oh no, it's actually, that's it. Fine, that's good. Yeah, it was 50-50 and it paid off. So, yes. Again, with the Forge World ones, it's nice that you don't have to drill these bloody barrels, because that's the one thing about plastics. Having to drill the barrels is a complete nightmare at the worst of times. But at least they come pre-holed as such. So that's that out the way. Yeah, they never do. And it just looks like they're sort of like bananas on the back, how they sort of bend out. But you do what you can and get it done. It doesn't hurt at the end of the day. But next up onto the Volcanic Destructor, which that doesn't meant to be there. So again, these have been quite good, very clean in general. Not a lot, so obviously well, we all know what Forge World can be like. Obviously, if you get a batch that's near the end of the mould's life, yeah, they can be a little bit ropey. You see little bits of rubber where it comes off the mould. So, yeah, but these have been obviously pretty good, to be fair. Get some of that. Just use Thumbtack, the centre punch. Yeah, I used to do like obviously just a hobby knife, just by eye sort of thing. But a Thumbtack would probably actually be quite actually good because you get a little bit more, you know, positioning. I would have thought, but yeah, get that in there, and then obviously get your appropriate size drill bit onto it, and then go from there. Really. Jeremy Mclachlan did it better and first, to be honest. I have to say he's back building the big beast again. Cool. Now, to say, I've noticed he's obviously been a bit quiet recently, and obviously with yourself, but then obviously that's down to injury, so it's understandable with you. But no, it's nice when you see like some of the old faces sort of start showing up and posting their stuff again. And then obviously just sharing the hobby love as we all do at the end of the day. You know, the world is a strange and unusual place at the best of times, and having the ability to share, especially like with these little projects that we do, because as I'm sure some of you even said something like where you get inspired by seeing other people's work. And so obviously when you're going around things like Instagram, Twitter, you know, AT18 and all that sort of thing, seeing what people come up with, and you just go, you know what, I didn't even think of that. And then you can sort of, you try to disseminate what they've actually done, especially like with the kit bash and stuff, which is, it's quite fun to do. It's like a little like a little puzzle. You sort of think, well, where did that bit come? Oh, it come from that kit, and to puzzle it out, and then it's a case of, you know, replicating, because in a way, it's replication or imitation is the highest form of flattery. But yeah, being able to do that is quite it's quite handy, because when you're using a group like we all do, sort of we all participate in sort of AT18 and stuff, having such a wide array of talent, skill, ingenuity and creativeness, you can take from that and really sort of apply it to your own skill sets and go from there. And obviously just improve. No, that's the wrong side. That's the side I want it for. Sorry. Just don't glue anything until you know which way you're doing it. Yes, so obviously when you're deciding which arm you want to put, that's your basic denomination. So obviously you want the little nodule bits facing outwards. So that was close because I want that on the left arm. So I can either do it with Sun Fury or do it with the volcanoes. But yes, so what's that? Much easier to do a knife point. Yeah, I can say I never even thought of using a thumbtack. So thank you for that. And I think everybody else here has learnt as an option to use thumbtacks in the future, or experiment. See what you're all comfortable with, you know. But yeah, I actually like the sound of that, and they're normally sharp little buggers as well, aren't they? You get them on there. I want the cylinders on the hydraulic pistons on the bottom of the rod and the top, and we lift more in that orientation. Yeah, yeah. It's done now anyway. Looks all right. So I actually had some magnets delivered today, he says, and now we can't find them. Oh, bum. My usual box of tricks, but I've got my 3x2s, but not my other ones. No, there they are. They were behind the beer, holding on to the keys with the magnets. So N42 Nidium magnets for those that use magnets. Yeah, so as I say, like joining, like learning. As I said, I never even thought about using a thumbtack. So you know, that's the good thing about this little hobby hangout that I do. You know, with everyone that joins in, we all have our own little sort of, you know, little bits and pieces that we do to help our own hobby, and we end up sort of sharing it in the chat. So we all learn new little sort of techniques and options and tricks and cheats and stuff that help out with our own stuff. So it's always good. Yes. All right. Now, I don't know if those that have been here before watching when I built Volcanic Destructor before, it's interesting because you've got on this piece here the bits that you want. Like there's one bit, so you've got to be careful when trimming. Yeah, let's try and focus, damn it, focus. There you go. So these two side bits, they can be cut off, but that middle one you don't want to go straight flush because that little peg is needed to stick into the actual weapon. So yes, be careful, people, because we all know what resin can be like. But that's focus. There you go. So you want to leave that little peg bit, little square bit there, because what we're going to be doing is adding these bits onto that bit to make like a cruciform. If you looked from the front, it makes out like a cross on these weapons. And gosh, ow, poop. Right, I've made a mistake because I've just cut a little bit into. So this is delicate operation time. So yes, it all comes together, he says, slowly but surely. So yeah, semi-salvaged, he says, roughly, loosely, and with great hope. Try and see, because that's only hanging on by a hair's width. So yeah, that's all. Yeah, there's a few rough bits on this. It looks like there was an air bubble in there, but this is actually meant to be. Yeah, it was definitely an air bubble. As you can see, that there is meant to be a gap there, but yeah, that didn't really work out as well as expected. So again, with this piece, it's different from top to bottom. So that's the bottom of the actual weapon, which will sit in there like that. And then that bit will sit on there. And then I'll show you once I've stuck it. That'll probably be easier. Yes. Hey there, Sif. Always lovely to have you here. Glad to see you again, and glad to know that you're doing some hobby, dude. It's a perfect Saturday night for hobby. So, so yeah, so it was just building weapons at the moment for my Legio Domitium warlords. So yeah, so I don't. This is the nigh on complete version of the latest warlord. So it's got that focus. Come on, play the game. So yeah, it's I wasn't sure about that red. I actually like the red, but I can't really do anything else with it. So yeah, because they do have red on. And to think about it, I've actually used different red because I just realised that on this guy, I used Blood Angels red over silver. So that I might redo that because that's the half the fun of working on a hobby, is that you can realise that you've completely fudged something up and then change it. As some of you know, I repainted these buggers because the original colour I was using, which was this colour, which was Screamer Pink, because the purple was very mauvey. It wasn't a purple, it was a mauvey purple. So like a red-based purple, whereas, you know, well, mauve going to burgundy type thing. Purple is more blue coloration. So if you go with purple, you end up with doing bloody Kirill's Zestabirax. I can never pronounce their name. I do apologise. Yeah, so yeah, so you got to go for that sort of warmer purple, the mauvey purple for them. So yeah, so again, that was the Screamer Pink. So it's quite strong. It is a nice colour, but I'd redone it all with the Magos purple. I preferred it because it had that metallic-y edge to it. So for my personal taste, I preferred it that way. Yash. Right. Now this part, so you've got 1, 2, 3 holes in the top. And there you go. So you've got your 3 nubs there. So, like so. So, get them. Ba, 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 ba. Get in the hole. Yeah, I actually did use the old hot water bath to try and balance it out. They weren't too bad, to be fair. So they weren't that. So they are good sort of sculpts generally. They're not too wibbly wobbly. Yeah, as far as I can tell, which I've been doing with all of mine, these bits is flash. So I'm taking them off. So just have the coil separate. I might be wrong, but I don't mind it this way, to be honest with you. I preferred it without than with. So that's the sort of the cruciform you're going to get. And then it helps out when you put that into there. Such a nice weapon. Again, these Volkites on the smaller Titans, they're not that fantastic, but on these big guys, they do, you know, the damage increase and the range. No, was it? I can't remember what the actual trait is they have, like Shield Breaker or Void Breaker or something like that. So you get additional 2 shots. So the beauty of this, because it's a beam weapon, so beams, you basically draw like a millimetre wide line from the gun. You can auto target because it's technically a template, so you can basically hit where you want to with it. So you can pick out whatever location you want to hit and not roll to hit, because you hit it basically because it's a beam. The 3 dice it has, you roll, and as long as you get a hit, at least 1 hit, the Void Breaker or whatever it's called, I honestly can't remember, and I haven't. Oh, have I? No, I have. It says no, I haven't. Yes, I have. There you go. Yeah, Void Breaker. So Void Breaker 2. So as long as you get 1 hit, you'll get an additional 2 hits because of that. So you just need 1 hit. So you do a minimum of 3 or a maximum of 5, strength 6. So in between, so macro cannon sort of levels. But what it comes into is obviously if you're hitting an already damaged location, so you know, a heavily damaged location, you're doing strength 9. And then if you're hitting from the side or from the rear, then you're getting the additional +1 or +2 to that. So you could be doing, let's say like strength 10 or strength 11. Hitting the target that you want to hit in the location you want to hit it is very, very handy to have. So yeah, it could be a really good finisher for you when it comes down to annihilating the enemy in front of you, or the side or rear. So yeah, I'm not sure if the lighter ones actually come with beam. I don't own any of the other ones, so I can't honestly tell you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And then the nozzle. Oh yeah, so you have to be careful as well, because again, you need this little bit here on the bottom, because you've got to put the support strut into that. So that there, and that there. And that falls into there. So that's your basic cannon. So scale wise, it's a bit more wider profile compared to a volcano cannon in some ways. So it's got a wider profile to it. Same length overall. Yeah, put them down there. Yeah, so same length, just a slight different sort of flatter but wider look to it. So again, that's quite handy dandy. Now this bit, again, because of positioning, make sure you put it on the right side of where you're going. So let's just tidy this bit up first. So where it's going on the outside, that's where this will go. So on the side where it's away from the Titan. So you've got that little gap there, and you've got these little gaps here. So that nub will sit in there, and then that will sit there, basically. So super glue and to that. So yeah, it really does go together really quite well. So, Warlords and Reavers Volkites only have Voidbreaker. Right, okay. Is it just Voidbreaker 1 Alex, or is it Voidbreaker 2? As I said, because I'm assuming they got 2 on that because it's the bigger tomb. Warby legs. Yeah, yeah, oh. Yeah, Warby, yeah, nah. Warby legs. Yeah, they're a bit. I like the Volkite because I have the Legion glaive, super heavy battle tank, for my Emperor's Children, and that thing just again I love weapons. If you ever watch Babylon 5, when you have the older races like the Minbari, the Vorlon and the Shadows, they all use beam weapons, and having beam weapons on the scene and on the screen just looks pretty awesome. So you see that light of death, that ray of death that's coming in to cut you to pieces, and that's what Volkites do. So I love that sort of whole idea about them, and how they work. So happy days. What do you mean, G Steeler? You're not buying a War Master? Don't deny it. Embrace the horror and buy one. I'd be remiss in my job as an influencer of purchasing Titans. Right. And right, how many in the chat? How many of you guys have actually built War Master? I know obviously Tom has, for that AT stuff. Who's built War Masters? Because I'm pretty sure, G Steeler, we're all going to be of the same opinion. It takes a long time to build, but damn, it's worth it because it just looks freaking awesome. Once you've got that together and it's there in front of you, as I say, let's get the chap out. There you go. Right, I'm going to go off here, so bear with me. So get some more cable. There you go. So let's get the Warby in there as well. Now, how can you resist that? How? Just tell me, how could you resist that? It's a beast. Yeah, let's move this light around here as well. There you go. So going up from the Reaver Titan, Warbringer, Warlord. Okay, I'll put and a Hound. Get out of the way. So look at that. Why would you not buy one? Look at it. It's massive. It's super huge. Oh yeah, no, totally worth it, dude. So, just got to do a repair job because I just accidentally caught that. So actually, oh yeah, there. Right. I will have one before Christmas. Felix have a partially built one. Sif has built his War Master. Maybe another Warlord. Only built a War Hound, and Reaver decided not. We'll build a Nemesis and then a Warlord. Nothing wrong with going up in sizes, mate. Not I for Kirill, so you'll get there one day. But then again, you've got all your big awesome Titans, so you've got them to keep you going. Yeah, it's cool, and yes, I want one, but that or Warlord or 2 Warhounds for the same cost. Yeah, no, that is a fair. Sometimes, yeah, having more Titans is good. Having massive Titan is also good. There's nothing wrong with having a massive Titan, but yeah, at the end of the day, mate, as we said before, it's your hobby. You know, you got to do what's right for you. But I will just say it is awesome, and it's well worth it because it's such a lovely kit to work with all the options that you get with it. It's like when you look at like a Warhound or a Reaver kit, you've got, you can do the one head. So that's the one thing I'm not too happy or whatever with the Reaver, is that we haven't got more like complete heads. I know we've got the different face bits, but whereas the Warhound, you've got the 2 heads, you come in there for the 2 Titans, fair enough. But you've got alternative versions, so you mix it up. The Alpha Reaver only comes with 1 head. The Beta comes with 1 head, but with 3 different faces to choose from. Warlord, you've got basically 2 heads with 2 different design of the plates, but you can mix them up if you want to, like 2 sides. So there's like 4 different types of, although it's the same. And then in the other kit, you've got the Mars Beta head in there. No Lucius head though, unless you're going to places like Battle Bling. But in the War Master, you have all weapon options available to the War Master. So that's basically the 2 suzerain plasmas, and then the Revelator missile system. But then the shoulder cannons, you've got obviously melter guns, you've got plasma guns, you've got flamers or inferno guns, Vulcan mega bolters, or the missile pods. Now the only thing which you can do with magnets is switching out the missile pods for any of the others, because all the others fit in the same thing, is the missile pod doesn't. So you have to basically do some creative cutting and manoeuvring with magnets to be able to swap them out. I haven't glued my ones in. I haven't magnetized them either. Sorry. So there's people have, and people have done great jobs with magnetizing. I didn't, but I'm cool with that, because I'm generally going to use over Vulcan mega bolters for the shield stripping, or I quite like the idea of melter guns in the shoulders because they seem fun, and who doesn't like a melter gun? That's a motivational poster. Missed it as I was typing. Oh. A local body is pushing me for 1-2. It's awesome. Then there's also Battle Bling Chapel Head. Yeah, I don't like it. It's too big, you know. Like with, for example, like loads of people didn't like the Warbringer head because they thought, oh, it's too big. I actually, after the amount I've built of these, I really like this head. It reminds me of like a Roman centurion. And when AD, who he painted his Legio Victorum Warbringers, he done a skull face on there. Same as Rob. Rob's done that on his as well, where they've done a skull face on that. It looks absolutely awesome having a skull face. But the head that I preferred on these is actually the Reaver, normal Reaver head. That one. Which I got my friend Glyden to, because he owned the big versions. So he and a magnetised head, so he actually put that head onto that. It looks so hench. It looks like I've got small head, big shoulders. I'm going to hurt you, and I really like that, and it's really cool. Always wondered why they never did the snout head. Well, on the sort of the more sort of brutal looking Warhound one, was that, Tom? Or like a wolf head type thing on the Warlord? Oh, for a Reaver. Sorry, yeah. Sorry. Yes. Well, that's the thing. They've done. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, because you had obviously the original Reaver. You had a head similar to that, and then you had the one with that looked like the Imperial Knight Warden head, the one with the snout thing. Yeah, maybe, who knows. I ordered Warlord Lucius head from Battle Bling. It's really cool. Yeah, like out of the Warlord heads, the Lucius isn't my favourite one out the heads, because I associate it with Mortis, and because I don't like Mortis, I don't like that head. It's petty, I know. But no, I've seen a few of them painted up, and they really do look good, and they're all on Traitor engines. They look really, really good. You know, because it's like that sort of like, for Mortis, it's that Death's head. It looks like it's grinning with its front grille, doesn't it? I'm trying not to copy Rob's head painting style. No, do it. Me and Rob were both inspired by AD, as Rob just says there. So, you know, it is something that you see something, and there's nothing wrong with like copying. You know where you've seen it. Just it's there as an inspiration. And I posted when I posted up my Legio Crisis one with the skull face. I just basically said, like, this was inspired by AD. It's nice to just show and share the love for the inspiration. Also did a skull on the Mars Beta as inspired. Yeah. What's your most random bit of hobby kit you use for the builds? Mine is like this is special nail files. Right. Okay. I would say my most random piece of kit I use for building Titans is the scrape tool. And purely because I've stuck magnets on it. So when I'm doing like Warhound weapons, because obviously I paint or colour in black one end, so I know which is the right way for all my weapons, I will stick said Warhound weapon there, and obviously then put the glue into the pre-drilled hole, drop the magnet in, and polarity will do the work. And then I will use something like bit of that just to push it into position, and at least I know it's all going the right way. So that's probably my, just having a magnet wouldn't work. Having it like that is just handy, and I can always find it when needed. But yeah, it just does what I want it to do. it attracts the magnets, so it's always going to be going into position the right way. So yeah, that's mine. So, or use it if you want. It's just nothing really. Just I always use the back of the blade for scraping. So I got that with was it Conflict? You know, the subscription thing that they're doing Imperium now. I got that with that, and I've never used it as a scraper, because obviously you hold it there and go with that. I literally use it as a magnet holder, or where I've broken off blades, I'll just keep the loose bits there just in case I could use the blade in something else. You should do just that. I copied your Ariot fist colour placement. There you go. No, I don't like Reaver or Head on the Wobbly. It's too iconic. Yeah, exactly. But then I don't like the Warlord head on the Warby. I know people have done like Moggy with heat. Now, Moggy Miniatures is on a different level. He painted that Ignatum Warbringer, and he put the Mars Beta head. So he put that head onto it. Although it's similar inside, it still to me looks odd, sort of thing. But I still love it. It's a paradox. Because Lucius' head is ugly to me. I got it for my Renegade. I love the Warlord Beta head the most, so that would be the most anticipated to paint. Yeah. When that came out, like in because it's obviously the special head that you get from Warhammer World. But my friend who works in Warhammer World, or he works in he's like design team manager or something like that, or one of the group managers. When that came out, he actually sent me a picture, because there's a little bit of like fluff they wrote in there, and they actually state on the fluff in the kit that the Mars Beta is most associated with Legio Ignatum. So it's like most Legio Ignatum engines sort of had that helm, skull head, whatever. So I just thought it was my favourite helmet, head for a Warlord. So that's why I have quite a few of them on my Titans. So yeah, no, he looks like that sort of Spartan look to it. So yeah, instant cool. Right, that's empty. Great idea. Works. Odd pieces. Iron makeup applicators for cleaning up oil and enamel paints. Not thought about that. That's a good one. Pledge. Yeah, no. The Pledge floor polish. I think it's got to be a certain type. Because years ago, when I used to use the Flash spray cleaner, you use that as a paint stripper. It was really good for cleaning off paint off of your acrylic paint off of models. But then they changed the recipe, and it weren't so good. So you got I think it was like Pledge Clear is the floor polish one that you need for, and you've got to apply it with what I was told by Phil, Engine Phil, to use it via airbrush to apply it, because you want to give it a couple of coats to make sure you cover it before doing any sort of oil weathering. The best gloss ever, must for decals. What's that, G Steeler? Future? Or is that autocorrect? Sif creme brulee pots as water. Yes, I've done that as well. I'll Pledge Future Clear. excellent. The Warbringer with a Reaver head looks awesome. Got one built and primed ready for this is something to get on with it, to get it together. Yeah, you know what it reminds me of, Sophus, is Starship Troopers. Do you know the tanker, the one that comes out the ground, and Johnny Rico blows a hole in its ass and throws a grenade in? The head on that just reminds me of, you put it on a Warbie, it just reminds me of that the tanker bug. So yeah, he just looks hench. He just looks like a Wolverine. Can use clear for super shiny shoes on parade, just to make sure it's not going to rain. It goes white. Right, yeah. And you do like to polish your shoes for those parades, don't you, dude? I can just see you just sitting there at the end of your bunk, just polishing away. Yeah, that giant beetle thing, that he's like rodeo riding on. It just shoots the head out of his ass, hangs onto the wound, and then throws a grenade in. Oh, it's like Starship Troopers is still a good film. Yeah, it's 20 odd years old, or even more. I think it was like last millennium it came out. But yeah, it may not have followed the books exactly, but Casper Van Dien does all right at Johnny Rico. That sort of like complete like green behind the ears, bit pretentious, and but no, I think that just it was a really enjoyable space war film. Little bit. Yeah, no, I don't think it even is. I don't think it is even like I was going to say like it's a bit dated, but it isn't. So yeah, no, I've got again through lockdown. I watched Starship Troopers again because it is just a great, great enjoyable film. And Avatar as well. When that was released originally back in 2010, Avatar is the only film that I've been to the cinema the most to re-watch. I went to the cinema 5 times to watch it because I just blown away by it, and not just like like the 3D bits or whatever, but I just loved the whole how it all came together. It was just I was whisked away to Never Never Land, and I've seen it 5 times in the cinema. No other film I've been back to see that many times. None. Apart from maybe Star Wars, but then I saw Star Wars once at the cinema when it first came out. And it was one of my earliest memories is being dragged up there by my older brother to watch this film, and then going to the cinema again to watch it when it was in a double bill, because they used to do when Empire Strikes Back came out, they used to do it as a double bill. So you go watch Star Wars and then Empire straight afterwards, which was really cool. So I remember seeing that, which was again great growing up those years. Sofa June. See, on Wednesdays when I do the Artist Empires stream, we always do Dune news. Like if there's been any sort of like recent reports of Dune, but from last week they did the sort of like previews to like film reviewers and all that, and most of the stuff I've seen and read, they've all been like waxing lyrical over this new Dune. And I for one, when they first said they was remaking it, and then when you heard it was Denis Villeneuve or Villeneuve doing it, it was just like, oh my God. And then you started seeing the cast come through, and you go, hold on a sec. You know, they've got this Timothy Chalamet, which, if you on Netflix and you watch, was it The King, which is basically like Henry V, he does such a great job in that film. And I saw that and I thought, wow, this kid can be Paul. No doubt about it. He's young, but he has that sort of old head on young shoulders sort of thing, and it just, you know, the cinematography on it, the sound as well, was what so many people have said how immersive it is. So yeah, June, I cannot wait. I probably will see that as many times as I saw Avatar. Although I still think they're still doing it as cinema and HBO Max, aren't they? So definitely in the cinema, and I might do it on HBO Max a couple of times, dependent on, you know, on everything really. But yeah, no, cannot wait for that. It's unbelievable. Can't wait for June 2021. No, I love the old June as well, because obviously it was Star Wars, something else as well. Sorry, but yeah, June. Yeah, I loved it from, you know, David Lynch, and David Lynch was one of my favourite directors for many years. I loved that sort of very strange look at the world he'd come out with his stuff. So I was quite, you know, like Blue Velvet. There was another one. Yeah, Eraserhead as well. These really sort of iconic sort of movies, and you just watch them and you go, that's David Lynch all over. That is his stuff. And obviously, Fire Walk with Me, Twin Peaks. You know, again, that was one of those iconic shows that came about and everybody was watching it. Who killed Laura Palmer? Oh, amazing stuff. Playing June 2 in a Mega Drive. Oh, yes, no, that's the thing. The June computer games, they created Command and Conquer. Without them, we wouldn't have had them. But they were brilliant. Loved all that. But yeah, as I was saying, like, one of the other films from those days, which I've been watching again recently. Also, for those June lovers out there, right? Now, I've mentioned this many times on Artist Empire stream, but on YouTube there is a fan-made redux and edit of June, where this guy, it's called Spice Diver. If you on YouTube, not now, later. If you YouTube Spice Diver June, he has a re-edited, rearranged redux of June, and he's added in the scenes that were cut out. And there's some scenes in, when I watched it, there were scenes in there that I hadn't seen before. Like, I've seen some of the outtakes, but he's incorporated them all into that, and the little edits he has done really does add to the actual overall enjoyment of the film. It works better, in my opinion. So it's like a director's cut, but not a director's cut, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that Spice Diver June is on YouTube, free to watch. When you got, you know, a couple of hours and you want to watch a bit of June, watch that, because those added scenes really do add to the overall experience. And it's not like, as well, and I'll just point this out, it's not like he's just like patched them in. They're all really good, like, you know, almost HD. Well, it seems like HD quality all throughout. So it's all been tidied up and put together, and it just works. So definitely, for those June fans out there, watch that. Yeah, Carl Mclachlan. He played Agent Cooper. He liked cherry pie and black coffee. Because yeah, he was Carl. It was like Everett McGill, who played Stilgar. He was in Twin Peaks. He was in other David Lynch films, and Jack Nance was Eraserhead. He was in Dune as he was the Harkonnen lackey who was playing the music box when the Baron was floating around Sting whilst he's having a shower, steam shower. And he was in Twin Peaks as well. So, certain directors had those like go-to actors, and those three for sure were go-to actors for him. So that's why they keep him showing up in all these films that he was doing. But Twin Peaks was cool. But so David Lynch did, because that's the thing with Dune. David Lynch, because he wasn't allowed to do certain things, he basically disassociated himself from it, and that's why you'd see Alan Smithy as the director, because he didn't want his name on there. So that's where you'll see when directors don't want their name attached to something, they'll say put Alan Smithy on there, and it came from Dune. Because there was some creative differences or something, or he couldn't do what he wanted to do or whatever. So he basically just said, like, take my name off it. And it was originally called Alan Smithy on the things, but I think that's been retconned now anyway. But so apart from Dune, as I said, Spice Diver. The other film I've been watching, I watched yesterday and finished off this morning before going to work, The Last Starfire. Now, that was just, for me, was just such a great film, and I've actually been listening to again on YouTube a screenwriter called Gary Whitta. He worked on the script with Rogue One. He's a huge fan of The Last Starfire, and he's been working with the original scriptwriter, who the person who came up with The Last Starfire, to do a reinvention everything with Last Starfire. And he's got a YouTube podcast, and I was watching some of it today, and they've got him, this guy Troy, I can't remember the surname, but he was involved in a computer game, The Last of Us. But they're both huge Last Starfire fans, and they on this video they're interviewing Lance Guest, who played Alex Rogan, who was the Last Starfire. So I've been watching that, and that was just really, really cool. Because he's obviously aged quite a lot now, because it was like 40 years ago almost. But fantastic stuff. Hey, Artist Empire. See, I was mentioning you, and you turn up. Can't stay. Just wanted to check in and say I hope you have a good weekend, and see you on Wednesday. Hopefully see you on Wednesday. Well, I should see you on Wednesday. Someone mentions June in the comments. I also mentioned that's our normal thing on a Wednesday. We like to talk about June. There's again, I've gone through all my podcast, June cast. So if you've read the books and you want a refresher of the 6 main books, June cast on most podcast providers. Really good. 2 enthusiastic American guys talking about June and their experiences and all that sort of stuff. But they do go through the books, and they spend on some of them they do like 2 episodes, and they're a couple of hours length. So if you're doing some hobby, you want to listen to some June stuff, they go through the books, picking up all the points. So if you've read the books, you want a refresher, really great. If you want, they will tell you everything about the books. So they do leave certain bits out, but they do cover quite a lot of them. So if you haven't read them, they're quite interesting. If you have no intention of reading them, then check them out. But they're definitely worth it. Yeah, so cool. 80s films. I know. That was something. Yeah, there was oh, I think it was my friend's podcast. Yeah, it was my friend Scott. He does a podcast called It's a Chat. It was started off as a Star Wars podcast, like about the movies and expanded universe and all that. They've done their sort of talk throughs over all the films and Rebels and stuff like that. But they did Lord of the Rings sort of deep dive, which was really cool. And they're now doing Indiana Jones. And they were talking about on Indiana Jones, they said in that year, 1984, I think, when it came out, um, like the top 10 films, like, and they mentioned the top 10 grossing films of 1984, and they're all legendary, like Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Indiana Jones, and it's like, oh my god, they're like if you think of the 80s and movies, you think of those movies. It's just like all of them were like, it said legendary status films. So it was like, oh wow, and my mind was blown. As I say, Beverly Hills Cop was the top, most highest grossing movie of 1984. But then you said you got Ghostbusters, you got Gremlins, you got Star Trek. I think it was Star Trek 3. Yeah, Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, was in the top 10 grossing movies of that year. And it was just like, oh my god, it was crazy. But yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the things I've been listening to recently have been saying like, I think like the blockbuster was sort of created in that sort of that 1979 to 1989 sort of phase, sort of thing. Like ever since, or when Star Wars came out, that changed a lot, and then you had like Spielberg's rise with like Jaws, and then obviously Spielberg and Lucas working together on Indiana Jones and like Empire, um, you know, Return of the Jedi, and all those other films that they worked on in that period, and they were all like real big, grossing movies, and it was like, all the bells and whistles, such great movies that obviously the older types among us hobbyists remember fondly. But they are still sort of quite enjoyable even today, sort of thing. They may not have all the like cutting edge graphics and stuff like that. Although I do wish that they would do that with Last Starfire and get somebody to redo the graphics on them. That would be just amazing to have that sort of like the space battles with modern technology graphics. Oh my god, fantastic! I think Artist Empire, Scott, you need to do a paint over a Gunstar just because it would look so sexy, or a Sandworm. Ooh. Yes, Sophus. Yeah, the one where he plays the arcade game. Yeah, which shouldn't have been delivered there. Mysterious. It seems like fate. Fun fact as well, there's this alien bounty hunter in there, and it was played by Mark Alamo, who went on to be Gul Dukat in Deep Space Nine. He's in it for about 10 seconds. But you see it, you go, oh yeah. Also, not that you see him in it, but Will Wheaton was actually in there as well as like kid in background. But you don't really see his face. Not that I noticed anyway. I have been looking. So 80s all the way. Stripes. How many people remember Stripes? Beetlejuice. So many awesome films in the 80s. And I'll be honest with you, I have been listening to a lot of 80s like music stations and stuff recently as well. And again, they're all bangers. It was a great time for the blockbusters. It was, dude. Absolutely right, Sif. the original Dune and the original series of novels have a special place in my heart. Also, like Brian Herbert's novels, fleshing out the timelines in a different era to me. Yeah, no, him and Kevin J. Anderson really did sort of take them, and you say they give meat to the bones that were already there. The one thing I've learned from listening to like the Dune cast was Frank Herbert when he was doing them. So you had obviously Dune, you had Dune Messiah and Children of Dune. That's a trilogy. God Emperor Dune is a standalone but a linking book to the second trilogy. So he was basically that was that's what he came along with. He started off with Dune, done quite well, and then thought, oh, there's something here. So he went on Dune Messiah, and it is the thing is with Dune, like Dune as a book on its own is a great story sort of thing, but the whole thing about Dune and Messiah and Children was that he was trying to show about not giving in and following those sort of like charismatic leaders sort of thing. So it was like a kind of a warning sort of thing, and that's the thing, like that sort of happens in that story. It's when people, you know, just think about Dune. Yes, it's the survival of House Atreides, but then they utilise stuff that had already been laid down, like the missionary productiva that the Bene Gesserit that had gone around seeding the Messiah sort of prophecies amongst races around the galaxy and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he wrote it as a sort of like a warning about like the aristocracy and corporations and all that sort of stuff, and globalism and not globalism. Looking after the the environment, environmentalism, sorry, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's and then obviously you continue, so you've got to take all three books as one story, and then God Emperor, completely different, and then the last three books. Now I haven't, well, say last three books was the last book, the seventh book. Brian and Kim J. Anderson wrote then, and they split it into two books. And then they went off and doing like House Atreides, House Carino, and House Harkonnen, and Prelude to Dune, and the Butlerian Jihad, and all that sort of stuff. So they've done all right out of it. Oh, geez, the Megaforce. I absolutely love Megaforce. That was just fantastic. That was such a cheesy movie, but in a good way. I love those, like the bikes, the dune buggy things they had with the machine guns on. They were like white and orange, so they just looked cool. And then they had, oh yeah, we got special paint on these. You just, it's black for night time and all that. Ah, and the flying bike, and that was the guy who was in that with the headband. Oh, I can't remember his name now. Oh, it's bugging me. But yeah, he was Megaforce was brilliant. Had the guy who played Swan out of the Warriors. The Warriors. The Warriors. Warrior. Yep. Sorry. Warriors come out to play. Sorry. But yeah, no, dear, bloody hell. So I'm going to try to catch up with what you guys are saying. Yeah, it's a big force, yeah. Me and my mates used to rent all the classics and then go over to my mate's house and watch them because my parents never had a VHS player. Yes. Yeah, I think we've probably been there or done something similar in the past ourselves. The final battle where they done an absolutely crazy 360 shootout and was all surrounded, so good. Stripes, yes. Decades 7 to 17, Man and Boy. Loved the Goonies and Ghostbusters. Was born in 81, so grew up watching those. Didn't see Dune until I was about 15, I think. Yeah, as I say, I'm not sure. I don't think I saw it at the cinema. I might be wrong. I may have. I don't honestly remember. One film I do remember seeing at the cinema, Flash. Flash Gordon. Ah, dear, that was just. Yeah, no, Flash was just a Flash. Oh, I love that film. Oh, you watched Beetlejuice last night? Oh, dude. Yeah, no, let's say that Beetlejuice, like, again, you know, was it Gina Davis? Alex, one of the brothers. There's like four of them. Alex Baldwin, and then obviously, oh damn it, I can't remember. What's his name? Jesus. He played Batman as well. Michael, not Batman. Well, his real name's Michael Douglas, but he had to change it because there was a Michael Douglas already out. But yeah, him, who was Batman as well. Can't remember his name. Murders, but remember the only sticker book I ever finished as a kid was a Back to the Future. Back to the Futures as well. Back to the Future. I think that might have been Michael Keaton. That was it. Yeah. Cheers, Sophis. Flash was amazing. And Brian Bloody Blessed. God bless you, Brian. Happy Days. Yeah. Well, Happy Days was that? Because I think we saw that over here, but that had already been released because it was like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley because they were in the 70s, but we didn't get it until the 80s, didn't we? over here in England. But yeah, no, it was actually interesting little sort of film to watch with Michael Keaton, which might be on Amazon, it might be on Netflix, but it was called The Founder, and it's about the origins of McDonald's. It's actually really quite interesting movie. It's like one of those little, sort of a semi-biopic, but it's actually really quite good. I've seen it a couple of times, and it's just like, wow. It's like the one man sort of determination to create something. Yeah. Alec Baldwin was the husband in Beetlejuice. Yeah, him and Gina Davis, and obviously, as says up earlier on in the chat, where's the mouse? Oh, there it is. Where is it? Who played? Damn it! She played Call in Alien Resurrection. She was always with Johnny Depp and worked in Tim Burton films as well as, oh no, it was Helen Bonham Carter they put on there, but she used to be, she was in Mermaids as well, and she's the mum in Stranger Things. Her. Because she was the girl in Beetlejuice, wasn't she? Michael, not Douglas. Yeah. Michael Keaton as Michael, not Douglas. Yeah, I've seen him in an interview and saying like, "Oh yeah, your name's Michael Douglas." I said, "Yeah, but obviously you've got Michael Douglas, son of Kirk Douglas." So I had to change my name because obviously Kirk Douglas, his name wasn't Douglas. Winona Ryder, thank you, Arks. Yes, her. So yeah, there's so many great sort of iconic movies, isn't there? Really, when you look back at it, it's just like it's amazing that like they're like, you know, we haven't even mentioned Aliens. You know, Aliens. Well, Alien was 79, but Aliens was obviously mid 80s, and that was again Terminator, Die Hard. Fantastic movies, all of them. Yeah, I think everyone's allowed to have a crush on Winona Ryder. It's, you know, it's standard, I suppose. standard procedure to admire her. Actually, yeah, cute. But yeah, no, it's such great films. Those Scrooged. The lists are impressively long. So yeah, all great movies. Although I always Neil from Orbit's the only way. Yeah. Yes, Android. Yeah, cool in Alien 4, Alien Resurrection, which I don't mind. I actually like Alien Resurrection because was it Jean-Pierre Jeunet who directed it, where he was using like Michael Wincott in anything like The Crow. You know, yeah. So, and the thing about The Crow and his character in The Crow, he doesn't actually have a name. Although he does have a name, he's not got a name. He's never called by his name, but he does actually have a name, which is Top Dollar. But yeah, Michael Wincott. Yeah, that in Robin. Although Robin Hood was 90s, but that voice of his, why a spoon, brother? 'Cause it's blunt. It will hurt more. The Fly, yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Now, Jeff Goldblum in that terrified the bejesus out of me. Brundlefly, Crocodile Dundee. I watched Crocodile Dundee in lockdown just because I thought, yeah, go for it. And he's such a great, like, how he treats people is really cool. But obviously everyone knows that ain't a knife. That's a knife. You know, Croc Dundee, Jesus Christ. I remember going to the cinema to see that, definitely. But yeah, I was going to say about Jeff Goldblum, a film that he was in the early 80s. Now, it's one of those films I love watching from time to time because it's based on real was The Crow 90s? Oh, it might be. Yeah, it might be, Tom, thinking about it. Yeah, sorry. So, back to my train of thought. Jeff Goldblum is in a film which was a iconic movie in the early 80s, and it was like, it's such amazing all that. But I love watching it. And I say it's not all about him. He's just a bit part in it, but it's an ensemble cast, and you see all these people's faces, and you'd recognise them from like so many films, and there's so many great actors in there. So you've got people like Ed Harris, Scott Glenn was in there, Lance Henriksen, who we know as Bishop, Ed Harris. Did I say Ed Harris already? I might have said Ed Harris. But so many great actors that are in this film. It's called The Right Stuff. And it's about the story about how America obviously went about breaking the sound barrier. Dennis Quaid is in it as well. And then it goes on to the Mercury rockets to get into like the first American into space. But you've got not Hank Azaria. It was the guy who used to do voices on The Simpsons. And when you hear him speak, you recognise his voice. I can't remember. It's not Hank Azaria. It's one of the other guys. But him and Jeff Goldblum are these two United States Air Force representatives, and they're looking for people to. First of all, they're looking for people to break the sound barrier, I think. No, tell a lie. No, they're actually the people that are compiling information about who should be pilots and all that. So whenever you see these like little scenes where they're doing like a slideshow, it's those two talking about. They're the two people narrating all that. But yeah, Jeff Goldblum, a young Jeff Goldblum, is in that film, sort of thing. He's Jeff Goldblum, but in a very straight but fun sort of ways. In a space, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know what, Sophie, so I'm gonna have to check that now because the right stuff cast. 1983, because there is actually a TV series. Yeah, so Ed Harris, who played John Glenn, Scott Glenn played Al Shepard, Sam Shepard played Chuck Yeager, who was the guy who broke the sound barrier. Dennis Quaid as Gordon Cooper, Fred Ward, who played Remo Unarmed and Dangerous, and was in Tremors with Kevin Bacon, Gus Grissom. Glennis Hershey played Glennis Yeager. Lance Henriksen was Wally Shearer. Was he? Yeah, don't know that. Yeah, Veronica Cartwright, who was in Alien. She's in that. But so many sort of faces. Jeff Goldblum as Harry Shearer. Harry Shearer was a voice artist on Simpsons, but he was a double act with Jeff Goldblum in The Right Stuff as his two dudes. But yeah, such a fantastic collection of acting talent, and telling this true story about how America went from breaking the sound barrier to going into space and stuff, and the sort of the personal tales of the astronauts and everything. Going brilliant. All talking about the next hot dog pilot. Yeah. Gordo Cooper, where there's a scene where there's this when they all go to Edwards Air Force Base, where all the test flights were doing, when they was doing the X planes, like the X1, like to break the sound barrier, and Gordo Cooper and Gus Grissom go into this bar where all like the ace pilots, they all go there. It's like this old sort of bar run by this old guy and all that sort of stuff. And the old guy in the film is actually played by Chuck Yeager himself. And you got him standing there having a drink, and like the old hot dog, Gordon Cooper going like, oh yeah, there's all those pilots' pictures on the wall, sort of thing. I'm going to have my picture on the wall there. So what do I have to do to get my photo up there? And the barwoman goes, you have to die. It's like completely burst his ego. He was one of the guys who shows up at the bar with Chuck Yeager sitting in there and pick fun at them for being really out of place. Yeah, no, it's great movie. Yeah, Chuck Yeager was a bit of it was a personal sort of like what he did and everything. That's fantastic. Setting all those records. Every time someone's beat his record, he'd go up again, beat it, yeah, again. But unfortunately, because he never went to university, he was overlooked for the Mercury or Gemini missions. So, never mind. Bless him. Yes, Sofa's Penance. Yes, Escape from New York. How could I forget that? Because Snake Plissken is again another one of my heroes. I absolutely love Snake Plissken. Jesus Christ, Snake Plissken, bloody Blade Runner. Blade Runner, which was probably single-handedly responsible for half the content coming out of Japan for the last 30 years. Yeah, such fantastic stuff that they all came about in those in those fabled faraway days. I know, like, lots of people say, "Oh yeah, all us old people talking about the past and all that sort of stuff," but it produced so much awesomeness. But then I suppose children from any generation and decade will have their fond parts, and I like 70s stuff as well. So there's some cool like 70s music in particular, you know, David Bowie, Elton John sort of thing. The Thing, oh god, yeah, again. Kurt Russell, I absolutely adore Kurt Russell. Such a great bloody actor, that bloke. Yeah, no, I absolutely love him. Everything he does. Like, I love him in Soldier, and he doesn't say a lot in Soldier. Always love the scene where they're doing the airway bubble test and facing off and running out the air. Yeah, when they Jughead. Yeah, because there's Ed Harris and the other guy, the other Marine, who has the best lungs, keeping the bubbles going. Yeah, going and going. So, no, it was Dennis Quaid. He's one. Yeah, he's the one who he stopped thinking he'd won, and then he hears the bubbles and looks down and he sees Ed Harris, and it was the other Marine pilot still going at each other. And when they finished, they like, "Oh, well done, John. Oh, you give me a good run for your money." And that's when he goes, "Oh, look at old bloody Jughead down there, and Archie and Jughead." Blade Runner was also a great book. Do androids dream of electric sheep? I've never watched Tequila Sunrise. I remember it coming out, all the ads and all that, but I never actually watched it, which is strange. Him in Overboard. Oh, all right, okay. So we've got The Thing, we've got Snake Plissken with Escape to New York. You cannot overlook the awesomeness that is Big Trouble in Little China. Kurt Russell in that is just fantastic. Oh, Jack Burton with the Pork Chop Express. I actually a couple of years ago, I think it was 2019. My daughter wanted to go to a Comic Con at the Excel in London. So I said, yeah, I don't mind taking it, because I've been to Comic Con a couple of years before that. So I said, yeah, we'll go down there. I was just thinking Overboard as well, Sophie, which was him and Goldie Hawn, real life love story there. But what was it? Yeah, so because my daughter, I was taking her friends as well, and my girlfriend was going, and we all went in cosplay. So a quick cosplay. It wasn't great. I did it, and my hair was too long, obviously, but I went as Jack Burton. I got the vest. I had the jeans. Bucked about with trying to get the boots, but went with that. And my daughter and her friends were going as Pokemon trainers, and Team Rocket and Daisy or whatever her name is, and Sam went as Arthur Dent. So basically, just wearing a pajamas and a dressing gown and carrying a towel. But yeah, it was just fun just to participate, and I did get a few people sort of calling out, going, "It's all on the reflexes." But yeah, the only time I've actually cosplayed as well. Technically, it's the only place I actually cosplayed in the appropriate area. I did go to a Halloween night at a nightclub and dressed up in my Werewolf the Apocalypse get up, which is basically like werewolf mask and then some furs and like body armor and stuff and a sword. And I won the best dress for this thing and won some CDs from the DJs, which was pretty cool. Edgy dude. Yeah, no, with his writing, it's again, he had some really sort of out there sort of ideas for science fiction. Obviously, he also created Scientology, amongst other things. But all of his books had very strange names to them. Like the man with the Man in the High Tower is an example, which is on Amazon, and I actually really enjoyed the adaptation series they did for that. That was actually really quite good, because I had no idea what it was about, and then when you get into it, you go, "Oh wow, this is actually like it's a what if at the end of the day." So seeing what was going on in that was just really, really interesting, and it really does make you think in some respects as well. Like, what if did happen, you know? And then obviously all the science fiction bits are all thrown in there as well. What's the other one? Oh, I think there were some other ones he's done, but it was made into films, but I can't remember the name of it, which is now pretty annoying to say the least. But yeah, so no, brain is completely shut down now. Right, yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna do the door a sec. I'm just getting a bit chilly in the office, but yeah, it's yeah, all those great movies with all those little scenes that sort of just stick into your heads. Maybe just I say, look, just like was I'm thinking of films. I'm not sure if they're on the version in the early 90s or if they were sort of late 80s. RoboCop, old Ed 209, a precursor for the Space Crusade Dreadnought. Wow, I've done some talking tonight. But yeah, as I say, it was a great era to enjoy films, even some of the silly ones. Go for it, dude. Go for it. And that is a good double header as well. You've got like, a nice bit of like factual sort of fiction, and then you just got complete fantasy, and Michael Keaton's performance as Beetlejuice. Because as I say, his career, I don't remember him being in anything else. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China, Egg Shen, Mal Ying, and David Lopan. Yeah, some big 12 foot tall Chinese dude I just run over in a truck and he got back up again. Yeah, the Free Winds or whatever they were called. But yeah, no, Big Trouble in Little China was such great fun. It was a fun movie. I was trying to think. What was the So we've covered quite a few sort of major sort of things. I was just saying, just looking at Escape from New York, Sophie was saying, there is that thing that because the popularity of Escape from New York and John Carpenter was getting a lot of sort of like people asking him to do a sequel, because that was where the sequels were first sort of really invented, really, as such. And so he sort of done Escape from LA as a sort of a protest because if you watched like the start side by side sort of thing, they're practically shot the same way as New York, sort of thing, how it happens and what happens and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, and Ghosts of Mars was originally going to be number 3 for Snake Plissken, and Snake Plissken Escape from Earth was his original sort of concept, and then he goes to Mars and does whatever. But then obviously, I think I'm not sure if they could get Kurt to work on it, or he was contracted for something. So obviously that never happened. So he made the film and just called it Ghost of Mars. Yeah, the Ed 209 was definitely the proto Dreadnought. So many films, so many, yeah, so yeah, so much was out in that 10 years, and I think, you know, because we were generally of the younger variety, you sort of remember them more because they have more influence upon us, whereas like more recent movies maybe not as much. Oh Jesus, Sophist, Raiden, Highlander, Christopher Lambert. He played Raiden. And we haven't mentioned Highlander because don't lose your head. Old Sean, that crazy Egyptian Spaniard Scottish person. Now, Mortal Kombat was definitely 90s. I'm pretty sure early 90s. Because then that would have been around about sort of the time of the like sort of Sega Mega Drives, Mega Drive time. I think that came out, so that would have been like 1991 sort of era. I'm sure. I'll try and get my kids to watch some, but they just don't get that. And Top Gun, Kelly McGillis, Anthony Edwards, and Tom Cruise, and Tom Skerritt as well as Viper, and Michael Ironside as Joker. My favourite scene from Top Gun is when they're doing in the flight thing. You got Ice. Was it Iceman? It might be Ice. No, it was definitely Maverick and Goose, and I think it was actually Merlin. Yeah, it was Merlin and Hollywood, and they're doing the wingman thing, and then suddenly like they're. You hear Tom Skerritt's voice. Good morning, gentlemen. It's ambient temperature is 7 degrees, and oh my god, it's Viper. Viper's here, and like Andy Edwards going, oh great, Viper's here. Was it Escape from LA or Escape from New York that had Current? LA was the surfing one. You've never seen Highlander? You need to add that to your list. Highlander. The first one was pretty cool. The second one, I believe they've actually shunned it. It doesn't exist. And then Highlander 3. And was there a Highlander 4? Not sure. And it had the TV series as well. So Mortal Kombat was mid-90s because of the techno one. Oh, fair, yeah. Oh, Reanimator. Yes, that was 80s. Fun is the word. Fun. Such great movies. I'm trying to think of the other, and obviously all amongst that we also had like in the 80s. You obviously had like Return of the Jedi. Several Star Trek movies, which the best Star Trek movies, which was for me, obviously, you had Wrath of Khan, which unpopular opinion, but I can only really watch the second half of Wrath of Khan when all the fighting's going off. You know, the first part I get a bit bored. One that I will watch over and over again without qualm or quibble is number 4, The Voyage Home, when they go rescue the whales, because I just find that hilarious. Everything that goes on in that, and plus it has a Klingon bird of prey, which is probably the greatest starship in the Star Trek universe. I'm not going to say it's the greatest starship ever. There are plenty of others which are just as good. Actually, there was another film that was talking to, if you know, another YouTuber called Lutin, who does the like the lore videos of 40k and heresy and all that sort of stuff. He posted up a picture of the Battle Beyond the Stars, which was obviously a Star Wars sort of clone. Pardon me. He posted it up the other day, and it was described by some people as the Magnificent Seven in space, which it is, but it was such it's just kooky. But again, it's just one of those little sort of like, you know, brain dead movies you can just sit there and just enjoy. Yeah, no, yeah, Lutin is he's pretty decent on the old lore video sort of thing. It seems that a good chap as well. And he say similar sort of sort of appreciation of films. But yeah, it is again, Battle Beyond the Stars is on YouTube. You can actually watch it on YouTube. So yeah, definitely worth checking that out, because you've got like Robert Vaughn in there. George Peppard, who played Hannibal in the A-Team. Predator, my God, we forgot Predator. We had Aliens, didn't have Predator though. Commando, we've got all the bloody Arnold Schwarzenegger movies as well. Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. Krull, Willow, Labyrinth, Legend. Such great stuff. Such great stuff. And I say, like, Predator, the original Predator is still freaking awesome. The whole sort of concept of it. And I still, favourite fun fact about Predator was that the Predator was originally Jean-Claude Van Damme. And he didn't understand, like, green screen, because he was running around the jungle wearing his, like, it looked like a pink prawn suit, and then like trying to do his karate kid, his martial arts and stuff, and he wanted to be a serious actor and he couldn't take himself serious, so he basically left it. So all the bits you see in Predator where the Predator's invisible, that was Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then obviously all the visuals when you see him later on with all the masks and all that was Kevin Peter Hall who played that. But yeah, he was Jean-Claude Van Damme was the Predator. Oh, you've seen them. I've seen the pictures of him. I haven't seen any outtakes, so that was. Yeah, Battle Beyond. Yeah, because I posted the link on in the conversation with Lutin on Twitter. I posted the link for it, so that was yeah. Because I knew that I had watched it recently. I couldn't remember if I watched it on Netflix or something. I actually watched on, might have been on Amazon actually. I just went through trading through all their sci-fi stuff and found a load of old sci-fi, that original Flash Gordons on there. So I watched like the original Flash Gordon, which again was just really surprising. And yeah, because it was Buster Crab. Also, I watched This Island Earth, like 1950s sci-fi. Is so good. Well, it's so bad it's good. It's not even bad. It's just, for its time, it was, you can imagine how like people watching it and stuff, and like, you know, Day the Earth Stood Still and all that sort of thing, and The Shape of Things to Come. Although I remember used to watching them in like the school holidays, they'd have them shown on like BBC Two, and I'd sit there and just watch them, um, and just enjoy them, you know, because it was just on. We didn't have that option of lots of stuff to watch, but you know, those sort of 19 black and white films, and some of the later like 60s sci-fi stuff, just really, really, really enjoyable to watch, with the, you know, how they go about things. And sometimes you watch these programs, you go, well, that's actually pretty clever for that time, for them to think about that. Pretty impressive. Running Man, yes. Who loves you? Who do you love, and who loves you? Damien, yay! I'll be back, only in a rerun. Professor Sub-Zero. Get ready for a surprise. Was on this last week, wasn't it? What? What? Something I mentioned, I don't know. Yeah, no, it was so much awesome. So much awesome. I'm just going to check something now. That's 1080s movies. Oh, Jesus Christ. Apologies. Lost Boys. we popular 1980s movies. Lost Boys, Dune, Once Upon a Time in America, Heathers, Full Metal Jacket, Platoon Bite as well, Batman, Hellraiser, Breakfast Club, Top Gun, They Live, which is brilliant. I've come here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Labyrinth, Dead Poets Society, Goonies. Oh, This Island Earth was on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. Going to Metaluna. We must go to Metaluna. Get into these tubes. Again, why would they think that? Because they had to travel faster than light, and we had to go into these tubes to preserve themselves while they do the things. You know, that's crazy advanced space talk. Beetlejuice, Risky Business, Willow, American Werewolf in London, Stand By Me, River Phoenix. Oh, so sad. Loved him. Absolutely loved him. Untouchables. Never Ending Story with Ardalax the horse. Akira. Sorry. Flight of the Navigator. Legend. Gremlins. Rain Man. Cocktail. Empire of the Sun. Big Trouble in Little China. Three Amigos. Aliens. Short Circuit. I don't remember this one. Cannibal Holocaust. Never heard of that one. Christine, Dirty Dancing, Fright Night. Oh, the original Fright Night. Platoon. I was obsessed with the song that they sing. Tears of not Tears of the Clown, was it? It was People say I'm the life of the party cause I tell them. So take a good look at my. I was obsessed with that song because of that film, and like Willem Dafoe as Sergeant Elias, and obviously Tom Berenger as Sergeant Barnes, and all the characters, all the actors that are in there, like because the guy, do you know the guy who got stuck in the Night Kirill, thanks for dropping in, dude. Sorry, Sophis. Mighty Mouse could never beat Superman. Mighty Mouse is a cartoon character. Superman's a real guy. He's got a job and wears a hat. Oh dear. Weekend at Bernie's. The Fly, Highlander, The Thing, Good Morning Vietnam, Airplane, Poltergeist. That scared the crap out of me. Footloose, Weird Science, The Elephant Man, Nightmare on Elm Street, like 1, 2, 3, 4 at least. Was it Dream Warriors #3? St. Elmo's Fire, Flash Gordon. Now I'm just looking because this is basically like top picks for me. 2010. That's fair. I actually really enjoyed 2010. That was a really good sort of quite an intense, space drama in a way, and obviously trying to answer the questions of 2001. Ewoks Battle for Endor, Octopussy, Tron. Now Tron, I went to watch that over ET because one, I was being taken to the cinema to see ET, and I wasn't that bothered by watching ET. And then when we got to the cinema, the queue for ET was astronomical. Yet the queue for Tron was very small, and I'd rather see Tron, so I piped up, can we go see Tron instead? And so we went and watched Tron instead, and I loved it. Absolutely loved Tron. Enemy Mine, Mazes and Monsters, which, if some of you have never seen it, is actually Tom Hanks in a film about Dungeons and Dragons and mental health as well. Tom, A Deja for Strings. Oh, yeah. As I say, as soon as you hear that, you're instantly in the film. The Voight contest as well. Heavy Metal, yes. Chariots of Fire, yeah. The thing I remember about Chariots of Fire was when it won the Oscar, and you had like the dude, or a director or producer or whatever, and he was like shouting to the Americans, "Yeah, the British are coming," sort of thing. And we didn't. None of our films won anything more for a while after that. Outland, Sean Connery and Spish. Now this is one of the greatest movies of all time in a non-sci-fi setting, but in a mythological setting and historical setting. Excalibur. Freaking awesome movie. John Borman's probably greatest work. So good on so many levels is Excalibur. The whole gleaming armor, the whole thing with like Guinevere and Lancelot and all that sort of jazz. Mordred and Morgana Le Fay. brilliant movie. One of my favourite straight-to-video movies, The Final Countdown, with Kirk Douglas as the captain of the USS Nimitz, which goes back in time, because there was a whole host of movies in the 80s involving time travel, as we know, with Back to the Future, but this was taking a bloody aircraft carrier to World War II just before Pearl Harbor, which was a different kind of sort of thing to do, really. But it was just I enjoyed it immensely. I think I had Martin Sheen in there as well, actually, in that. Clash of the Titans, Harry Hamlin with the old oh shit, is Brian Brown dead? When did he die? Princess Bride, yes. Pearl Harbor versus USS Nimitz, yeah. Gorillas in the Mist, Teen Wolf, and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Heathers, Three Fugitives, Legend of the Lone Ranger. What's that recommended to me? Iron Eagle, straight to VHS, because it was pure cheese. All right, Alex, man. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for hanging around and being a participant of stuff. Well, The Princess Bride was filmed 3 miles from your house. That's pretty cool. Rob, don't mess with a Derek. Dereks don't quit. Yeah, bad taste. Oh, I remember. Oh, that is just such. Again, one of those straight to VHS classics. Supergirl with Heaven Slater. And all the Superman. We didn't mention Superman when Sophie's mentioned about the Mighty Mouse versus Superman. Short Circuit, Look Who's Talking. Batteries Not Included. When Harry Met Sally, and Kroll. Yeah, I know. I've been listening to another podcast called the Friendship Onion, and it's actually done by Dominic Moynihan and Billy Boyd, who played Merry and Pippin in Lord of the Rings. Funny enough, Merry and Doc Brandy Buck. Pippin, what was his surname? Pippin Took. Fool of a Took. Yeah. But they do a podcast called The Friendship Onion, and obviously in that so far they've done about 9 episodes. It's weekly, but they've had Elijah Wood's been on there, and they've recently just done Sean Astin as well, so that all 4 Hobbits have been on. Obviously the 2 of them are on it all the time, but they also had a few of the other guys that worked for Weta. So I think it was Ian Taylor or Richard Taylor, who was like Peter Jackson's like right-hand man. He was like telling how he sort of got into doing what he was doing, how he was learning, and him and his wife basically got it and worked with Peter on everything pretty much. And when they were trying to, Peter Jackson done Bad Taste on his own pretty much as well. And then obviously they've done Brain Dead. I kick ass for God, or I kick ass for Jesus. The ninjutsu vicar. But yeah, like they were saying about like Peter Jackson with his sort of the way he saw things and planned things and all that. And I think they'd done Meet the Feebles or Meet the Fleebles, which was the sort of the Muppets but wrong, like so the X-rated Muppets, and that done quite well. So that helped him out. But when you look at Lord of the Rings and then you look to his earlier works, you think, how the hell did this guy get this job? But he did, and he knocked it out of the park. Having watched Lord of the Rings again recently, I don't think you could do any better. Like The Hobbit couldn't touch what Lord of the Rings was, and Lord of the Rings will just be like the benchmark of doing a great sort of adaptation of a classic work, because there's nothing can touch it. It is nigh on perfect. Brain dead with a lawnmower, yeah. Fly mo. Damn you, monkeys. But yeah, it was such a how he got there. But as I say, when you've got the passion, the determination, and as I say, the idea to make 3 movies, just basically just do them all together, film it all at the same time, get everyone to work and pull in the same direction, and to say where I've been listening to these podcasts with Billy and Billy Boyd and Dominic Moynihan, how they were saying that they had. It was fun. It was hard work, but it was fun. And even if he was on a day off, you'd want to be working or on set to be be there to hang out and just see how it's all going, because everyone just enjoyed it so much. The whole experience of being in New Zealand and helping to create this awesome set of movies. And when you look back at like people that like Viggo Mortensen, he weren't Aragorn. He had Stuart Copeland, I think was Stuart Copeland was Aragorn, and they like started the movie filming him, and then he couldn't, and he pulled out, and so they just ran out and found Viggo, and I think you cannot, you just can't. Viggo Mortensen is Aragorn, and nobody could ever change that. He is Aragorn. Same as like the Hobbits are the Hobbits, and so Ian McKellen is Gandalf. You just that's it. There's no, you could never not have them as those characters, and you can never, we might even live long enough, and they might try and remake them, but they can't. It's like Gone with the Wind. You cannot remake that kind of level of classic movie, and it is a classic. It's a modern classic. It does everything you want it to do. That was it when I heard Jackson was directing Lord of the Rings. The whole thing about the thing was Sean Connery was in the running to be Gandalf, but he could not. He didn't understand like about being a wizard, So Shelley, I don't understand it. So he turned it down, and he was he was offered a percentage of the gross, not the sort of like after tax, but the gross. He was offered. He would have, if he had taken that job to be Gandalf, though I don't think it would have worked with him. It would not. No. Yeah. So Ian McKellen was perfect for Gandalf, but if it had have worked and Sean had been in there, he would have earned millions because he was being offered a percentage of the gross. So however much money the Lord of the Rings made, he would have had a nice sweet percentage of it. Yeah, well, Vigo, have any of you guys ever seen a movie? Now, this is a 90s movie, early 90s movie called The Prophecy, and it's got Christopher Walken in it as Gabriel, and Gabriel's trying to end the war in heaven that's been going on for thousands of years by obtaining the most blackest soul that humans had, sort of thing, because humans are really good at betrayal and deceit and viciousness and all that. An angel might be, powerful to kill and all that, but they don't have the conniving nature and sheer sadistic nature of a mortal. But Christopher Walken as Gabriel going around trying to get this dark soul. But the prophecy is I absolutely love it. And you also have Elias Koteas, who played again you'd recognise him, but he played Casey Jones in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, in the film live action one. But there's a scene in it where Viggo Mortensen is playing Lucifer, and it's the first time I ever saw him in anything. It was in The Prophecy, and Viggo is Viggo, but he's just it's just a beautiful. I can't say beautiful because it's actually quite a for the other person involved, it's not a nice experience for them. There's no violence in it, but it's just you feel the sort of like emanating off of Viggo that yes, you are Lucifer. He's not got like horns or anything or something like that. He's there and basically just saying like this woman sort of looks round and she's played by I think it's Madchen Amick, who was in Twin Peaks. And I think because it's the same woman who played Irulan in Dune. And she comes out of this place, this building, right? She's getting some fresh air, and in the darkness of the outside, you just see somebody sitting on this wall, like this blurred image of this person sitting there. She turns around and she sees him, and she just you feel her soul leaving her body through her ass, because she's just seeing it going sort of thing, and he's just calm, and he's just being very matter of fact and all that sort of thing. He goes, "Hello there, Catherine," and it's just the way. It's only a couple of minutes that he's in there, but he's just basically saying, "You're going to help me because I don't want Gabriel to win, and it's not because I love you, human monkeys, you talking monkeys, just because two hells is one hell too many, and I can't have that." He's just again, he's on YouTube. If you look for Viggo Mortensen as Lucifer, it's about 3 minutes long, but it's just the way he's just magnificent bastard. I love Christopher Walken in so like Deer Hunter, obviously. Batman Returns, because Batman Returns is one of my favourite Batmans, because Michael Keaton, Christopher Walken, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, brilliant. Absolutely love that. Butch's dad in Pulp Fiction, obviously, as Tom's already mentioned, but also Leo DiCaprio's dad in Catch Me If You Can, because that's a great movie. Him and Tom Hanks. Yeah, such a great film. Having them in there. What else? Christopher True Romance is in as well, isn't he? Is it? No. Is he? Is he True Romance? No, I think I'm getting confused with. Dude. That's bugging me now. He was also the guy I'm thinking of, Dennis. Who was in Speed. He was also in Blue Velvet. He was also in, I think he was in Easy Rider. Dennis Hopper, that's it. Walker and Hopper. Yeah, because Dennis Hopper plays the dad to what's his face? Oh my God, Christian Slater. So yeah, Dennis Hopper. Yeah, you're right. She does smell of peaches. Or was it strawberries? Was it peaches or strawberries she smelled of? Christian Slater. Again, I loved his early films. So no, that wasn't Christian. Pump Up the Volume. Gary Oldman in True Romance. Oh yeah, no. No. Was he Drexel? Yeah, it was Peach. Yeah. Gary Oldman, was he playing Drexel, the white Afro drug dealer? Wasn't it in that? Yeah, because for a second now, yeah, he did play Drexel. Yeah, no, in Blue, yeah, he was a right psycho, was it, with his breathing in, baby. But yeah, no, he's the and was Waterworld, wasn't it? He was in Waterworld as the bad dude. Yeah, he was Drexel. Yeah. Gary Oldman, who obviously, apart from Servius Snape, no, not Servius Snape, was it? It was wasn't Snape, was it? He never won an Academy. Did he? I thought no. Yeah, I might be in a BAFTA he got for when he played Churchill. Also, because I think he's won as either as a maybe a director with Nil by Mouth. I think he. I'm going to check that out now. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, whose sister was in EastEnders as Big Mo. Oh, he was it Fifth Element as well, wasn't he? Old Zorg. Obviously Leon as well as so we're in the 90s now. With that, Immortal Beloved, Sirius Black. Sorry, yeah, Harry Potter. James Gordon in the Dark Knight trilogy. He was nominated. He won an Academy Award for Best Actor for the role of Winston Churchill in The Darkest Hour. And he was nominated for the portrayals of George Smiley in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and as Herman J. Mankiewicz in Mank, which was 2020. He served as executive producer on various films such as The Contender, Plunkett McLean, and Nil by Mouth, the latter of which he wrote and directed. And he's featured in television shows such as Fallen Angels, Tracy Takes On, and Friends. And I did not know that he was actually the voice of Viktor Reznov in Call of Duty video games. So there you go. So yeah. So let's carry on for you, because he is also awesome. Yeah. So yeah, there's if you've not seen The Darkest Hour, which obviously is World War II, Britain, we shall fight them on the beaches, on the landing fields, and in the fields and countryside, and in the hole over there. We shall fight them all. He's a really great sort of insight into this war leader. He weren't the greatest of people. He done what needed to be done for England to survive and to fight the Germans in this instance. And obviously much later was vindicated because of all the dodgy shit that they were up to. But yeah, it's a really good portrayal. But there is a lovely little clip in YouTube, funny enough, where you have him in this Winston Churchill get up. So he's in a fat suit and he's got all the makeup and all that. And they videoed him whilst in between cuts dancing to James Brown. It is glorious. So that's definitely worth a look up at the end of the day. So yes, I definitely recommend that. Right. Well, it's gone 11:30. Not got much in the way of hobby done today because we've been having an awesome hangout and talking about films and stuff. I've absolutely enjoyed this evening. I apologise for those who have popped in just to see a Volcanic Destructor and a couple of turbo lasers on the side, just sitting there, not doing much. I'd also like to thank Harry Price, and the other dude for turning up and for spamming the hell out the chat earlier on. I'd like to thank you because whilst you were here, you was adding to the amount of viewers and upping my minutes. So that's why I was ignoring you, because I can do that. So yes. Sophist, Better Off Dead. I've just seen it. I totally missed that. Better Off Dead is absolutely fantastic. One of my favourite John Cusack films. His early stuff was just brilliant. That, The Sure Thing, Say Anything, even Con Air later on. But John Cusack, I did sort of I looked up to him. But yes, yeah, I'm glad that you all hung out, and thanks for also, obviously, when those guys did turn up and was being a bit weird, why bother, you know? And as I said, I didn't interact with them because if he was hanging out there and I did interact with him, then he would have won. But as I said, him being here just added to the minutes and the hours of the viewers watching. So yes, thanks guys. Hope to speak to you online and in Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else. See your stuff floating around as well. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed tonight. It's been a laugh, and just great. And I'm glad that you've all managed to get some hobby done. And yeah, so until we meet again, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I do. But I know we'll meet again on either Wednesday or Saturday. So take care and happy hobbying, and I'll catch you all over there. Yes, best to ignore those people. Yeah. So after I couldn't ban him, he kept coming back in. There's no point. So just let him have his thing. I apologise if anyone was offended by their actions. I shouldn't have to apologise for them, but they have been, why bother, really? And as I say, it all adds to the minutes viewed on the algorithm. So thanks for joining us. So, so yeah, I'll catch you all later on, and I hope you have a lovely evening and a great rest of the weekend. Okay, so nighty night, and take care. See you soon.